And now...
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
And by the grace of God, it is finally Friday. Finally Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to it. Come on in, have a seat, and enjoy, because we've got a loaded show for you today. Lots of fireworks on Capitol Hill yesterday. Fairfax County prosecutor grilled and served well done, because he's one of those George Soros prosecutors that likes to release illegals to go out and murder and stuff. So we're gonna get to that on this show today. We got Tony Kinnett on the show. We got Mary Walter on the show. We got of course Christian Toto on the show, the unusual suspects that we like to call him, and of course Donald Trump on his way back from China. It was something else. They even play YMCA.
I think I was particularly impressed by those children. They were happy. They were beautiful. The military is obvious. It couldn't be better, but those children were amazing.
How were your talks, sir?
It's great.
Did you talk about
Great place. Incredible. China's beautiful.
Both China and the United States stand to gain from cooperation and lose from confrontation. Our two countries should be partners rather than rivals.
Tonight it is my honor to extend an invitation to you and Madam Peng to visit us at the White House this September 24th, and we look forward to it. And I'd now like to raise a glass and propose a toast to the rich and enduring ties between the American and Chinese people. It's a very special relationship, and I want to thank you again. This has been an amazing period of time. Thank you, President Xi.
I was a kid when Nixon went to China. I don't remember much about it, but I would say this one kind of dwarfs that one. Donald Trump walked over there and whipped it out, man. He had all of the world's biggest business leaders there, and they gave him quite a welcome. Did you see him come off Air Force One? I put up this meme. I made this meme yesterday, and I showed Donald Trump coming off Air Force One and all the kids with flags, and they played YMCA and everything, right? Versus Barack Obama. They had the short stairs and the rear exit. And I said, Donald Trump getting off Air Force One in China, and then I put Ace Ventura. Remember Ace Ventura when he crawled out of the rhino's ass? That was Barack Obama. That was Barack Obama getting off Air Force One when he visited China. I mean, they treated him like a cheap date, and Donald Trump said, if they would have treated me like that, I would have just closed the door and took right off. But that's the way they were treated. Old Joe Biden and Barack Obama just treated like a cheap date. It was fantastic. Rob Finnerty last night noticed the grand entrance and made a comparison to a Disney movie.
There is no other leader on earth right now like Donald Trump, and China delivered in a huge way. The welcome ceremony, my kids watch Aladdin a lot. Yeah. This felt like a scene out of Aladdin.
Prince Ali, fabulous he. Yeah, it was
cool. But it's a huge shift from what we saw during the Biden years, or even the Obama years, even the Clinton years. Yeah. I think it's important to point all of this out. Donald Trump was greeted by the Chinese like he is the most important leader in the world. Compared to
because he is
Joe Biden, who would literally fall asleep during meetings with other world leaders. Jake Tapper wouldn't cover that.
It was his entire presidency was a joke. If you support Joe Biden and you agreed with Nancy Pelosi he belongs on Mount Rushmore, you're an idiot.
Joe Biden, who needed his hand held so he didn't wander off into the forest, during group photos at the G7. He couldn't even use the real stairs in Air Force One because he would trip and fall.
Yeah.
So they rolled out fake, smaller stairs so Joe Biden could get off the air.
Remember that? He couldn't go up the stairs. The president of the United States couldn't go up the stairs and had cognitive decline so bad they had to remove him from the race for president. He was going to do another 4 years in office. See, this is why I'm going to use mockery and ridicule and satire for all of the people who made us go through 4 years of that just stupidity. And we got to kind of act like, oh yeah, it was no big deal. No, you need to be held accountable for it. It's like you guys who called yourselves they and them for a while there. Now there's no erasing that. There's no 5 years from now saying, oh, that old they their thing. Well, I don't know what I was thinking. No. We're going to hold you accountable for the rest of your lives. This is Chanel Rion. She's actually really good talking about what Donald Trump. It was an invasion. It wasn't a visit to China. It was an invasion.
Look at who Trump brought with him as part of his official delegation. The absolute beasts, the titans of world finance, industry, technology, agriculture, and innovation. Trump brought Elon Musk, the CEOs of NVIDIA, Apple, BlackRock, Blackstone, Boeing, Cargill, Citigroup, General Electric, Goldman Sachs.
I'm surprised he didn't bring the CEO of McDonald's.
Micron, Qualcomm, and others. This is an invasion.
Boom.
Collectively, these men represent the world's economy. On paper, that's about $15 trillion, and that's a conservative estimate.
Ouch.
China's entire GDP is about $20 trillion.
Do you know how many Leering centers you'd have to open up to make $15 trillion?
So these men, flying with Trump, standing by his side as his team, representing America.
Do you know how many insider trades that Nancy Pelosi'd have to make $15 trillion?
Represent more money and influence than most countries combined. You thought we invaded Venezuela and Iran?
No.
Those are both just side swipes at China.
Nothing.
This week, Trump is invading Beijing. It's not even a fair fight.
No.
China's entire centuries-long plan for civilizational domination has been shattered in just over 1 year of Trump's reign.
Yeah, it's true. That's just brand new from Jim Gossett as the president.
I got my way with Jinping. I scored big with China. Had him wrapped around my face.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
What a trip.
Come on.
What success we did well.
Come on, James. Yeah.
This song that I sing, a victory in China.
Woo.
The effects are gonna linger. To be succinct, China blinked, you could tell. It was a wonderful thing when I scolded Jinping. Arms sales to Iran will stop. America came out on top.
Yeah, we did. Come on, it's good to be back. Woo.
Got the Democrats on their heels by winning big in China. As I give them all the things.
Dang.
America. It's great once again.
Woo!
Jinping, I own that guy.
Come on, man, James. Beautiful. I'll tell you what. You know, I didn't even screen that. He just sent that a few minutes ago. Jim Gossett just said that to me, and I just added it. I said, I put it up. I didn't even listen to it because I knew it was going to be good because Jim Gossett is amazing. He's a gift to comedy. He's a gift to radio, and he's right here on this radio program, the only conservative comedy show in America, conservative talk show in America that features comedy, number 10 in the nation. Podcast for political commentary. Can you believe it? And I've only been in Washington, D.C. for 9 months. Oh, the sky is the limit. The sky is the limit. Peter Schweizer has written a whole bunch of books on China. I've been talking to Peter Schweizer for many, many years about, a variety of things. Clinton Cash, she was in bed with China. Joe Biden was in bed with China. They got millions and millions of dollars. The Bidens got millions and millions of dollars from the Chinese Communist Party into their family, and they were allowed to fly a spy balloon over the country and steal all sorts of our secrets. And then they, of course, treated us like a cheap date because, when you put out on the first date, you never get treated very well. And Joe Biden... and Hillary Clinton. I don't like that visual. They certainly did put out, and then weren't treated with a lot of respect. Donald Trump, on the other hand, completely different thing. Here's a little bit of Peter Schweizer on Donald Trump going to China versus Obama, etc.
Well, I think, China pulled out all the stops for President Trump. They didn't do it because they like him. They did it because they respect him and they kind of fear him. They have disliked American presidents in the past. They did not like Barack Obama.
No.
Barack Obama, they felt, was condescending and was sort of dismissing them in an arrogant way. And you remember in September of 2016, they didn't pull the stairway up in front of Air Force One. So he had to climb out of what the Guardian magazine in the UK called the ass of Air Force One. He had to go down the back steps. It was an example of disrespect. They would never do that to Donald Trump in a million years because they know Trump wouldn't tolerate it.
Hence my comparison with Ace Ventura crawling out of the rear end of the rhino and Barack Obama. It was a perfect analogy, actually. I've got more on this coming up. Your calls are welcome. 800-922-6680. This is a glorious edition, Friday edition of the Rob Carson Show. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson. You know my signature phrase, don't catch the stupid. When it comes to Medicare, that's easier said than done. Medicare is overly complex with thousands of plans, hidden gotchas in the fine print, and rules nobody really explains to you. Many people just pick something and hope for the best. That's why you need to know about Chapter. They're the only advisor that looks at every plan in the country, matches your doctors, your prescriptions, and your situation to a plan that fits your needs. When your call with Chapter is done, you know your doctors are covered. Your prescriptions are matched, and you go from, I hope I did this right, to, I know I did. That, my friends, is peace of mind. A call with Chapter is free for my audience, and there's no pressure to sign up. Call Chapter today. Here's the number, 27 Medicare. That's 27 MEDICARE. 27 Medicare for Chapter. No pressure. What's your excuse? Call 27 Medicare and don't catch the stupid yourself. Call 27 Medicare today.
Kim Klacik.
Two girls that Swalwell groped before. They say there's 50, maybe more. It's a sordid tale. Eric should be in jail for all the girls he groped before. It finally forced his resignation. He left the Congress in disgrace. And now we have an explanation why female staffers carried mace. To all the girls that he attacked, and to the women who fought back, Swalwell needs to pay. Arrest Eric today for all the girls that he attacked. To all the years that he should serve, a prison stay he does deserve. Two girls that Swalwell groped before. They say there's 50, maybe more. It's a sordid tale. Eric should be in jail for all the girls he groped before. It finally forced his resignation. He left the Congress in disgrace. And now we have an explanation why female staffers carried mace. to all the girls that he attacked, and to the women who fought back. Swalwell needs to pay. Arrest Eric today for all the girls that he attacked, to all the years that he should serve.
The Rob Carson Show podcast is everywhere. Go to newsmax.com/listen for details.
President Xi would like to see a deal made. He would like to see a deal made. And he did offer, he said, if I can be of any help at all, I would like to be of help. Because,
he did say that.
Yeah, he did say that. And look, anybody that buys that much oil has obviously got some kind of a relationship with him. But he said, I would love to be of help. If I can be of any help whatsoever, he'd like to see the Hormuz Strait open. He said, if I could be of any help whatsoever, I would like to help.
You know why Donald Trump was treated so well in China? Why they wrote out the red carpet for him versus Joe Biden and Barack Obama? Because Barack Obama and Joe Biden let China have their way with the world for years. They got away with everything. And Donald Trump came into office, said, first of all, we're going to take care of this Panama Canal, take down those Chinese signs, and we're not going to be allowing you to control the Panama Canal anymore. Then we went after Venezuela. Then we went after Iran. Now we've got control, essentially, of the Strait of Hormuz, and we have their nuts in a vice. Oh, there you go. How about that? We're also offshoring a lot of the manufacturing that they were doing over there back to the United States of America. So it's kind of nice to have a boss instead of a guy who poops his pants and goes to bed at 9 in the morning like Joe Biden, or Barack Obama, who's just full of himself, thinks that he is all that and he's nothing more than a spoiled, entitled academic with no real-world experience. And of course, he sent pallets of cash to the Ayatollah, thinking that would be like, some way to get them to come to the table, but actually just made us their B-word. So there's that. That's the reason why they treated Donald Trump so well over there. They call him sir. They call him Mr. President. Nobody calls him Donald. Nobody calls him Donald. The only person who calls him Donald is Melania Trump. That's it. And his mom used to, and that's about it. Otherwise, it is Mr. Trump, it is sir, or it is Mr. President. That's the way it is. I remember when Kamala Harris was running for president, that ill-fated, stupid campaign where they spent $2 billion to try to elect an idiot. And I laughed out loud when they said that she was going to be the candidate. And she talked about him with such a disrespect, with even though she had never had any experience professionally, really, as an executive, any knowledge of how to run a business, any knowledge of how to run a country. The longest held position she had was horizontal, and she would talk trash about Donald Trump, and she summarily got her substantial rear end kicked up between her shoulders. And we've got a guy in charge now who is a businessman. He is putting America first. He loves America. He has survived 2 impeachments, a raid on Mar-a-Lago, 4 political trials, 1 faux rape trial, a raid on Mar-a-Lago, and now 3 assassination attempts. He's not here to mess around, and this is what we voted for him for. Peter Schweitzer was talking about Donald Trump last night and who he brought with him, by the way, because Donald Trump didn't just bring himself, which would have been enough, but he also brought the technological and manufacturing leaders of the entire planet with him.
He's also rejiggered the economic relationship, I think, in a very positive way. This delegation of CEOs that came with him, it conveys to China, look, they're with me, I'm with them, yep. This is my posse, yep. These are these dynamic companies that are excelling America forward. But also, Jesse, it conveys to these CEOs, you're American companies. You're not multinational corporations. You're not going to cut these kind of co-production deals that benefit our enemies anymore. Right. So it makes him the convening authority in commercial relationships with China, which is exactly what you want when you're dealing with an adversary like Beijing.
That is a big deal. Rather than having American corporations go around our backs to work directly with China, offshore production over there, Donald Trump has said, bring it back home. Bring it back home. Bring your factories here. You're going to be able to write off all of the costs of building new factories. We're going to put a tariff on Chinese goods. Come back. And Barack Obama's like, I don't know the magic wand. I can't bring manufacturing here. He didn't know what the hell he was talking about. He's an academic. Had no clue. And Donald Trump is doing it right. Marco Rubio was asked about Taiwan because, China really wants Taiwan, and we sell them a lot of arms to defend them. And, Donald Trump, again, has their nuts in a vice because he's kind of got control of the flow of oil and all of this. And so that kind of puts a damper on their possibility of going in after Taiwan. But Marco Rubio was asked about Taiwan.
China wants to invade Taiwan?
Well, I think China's preference is probably to have Taiwan voluntarily join them. In a perfect world, what they would want is some vote or a referendum in Taiwan that agrees to fold in. I think that's what they would prefer. Ultimately, it's featured prominently in President Xi's mandate. In the time he's been in office, he's made clear that what they call reunification, that's what they call it, is something that has to happen at some point. We think it would be a terrible mistake to force that through force or anything of that nature. There would be repercussions for that globally, not just from the United States.
Yeah, so I don't think anything's going to be happening anytime soon with regard to Taiwan. I'm not an expert at it, but certainly we have China in a more compromised position than they have been with us in many, many years. Billionaire hedge fund CEO Citadel, Ken Griffin, who's leaving New York because Zoran Mondami's going after him. He says that the dollar, his purchasing power has dropped dramatically, and he said it started with Joe Biden. I want you to listen to this, because this is really true. You think about how much it costs you to fill your grocery cart, how much things cost now. This started 6 years ago with Joe Biden.
Have you been to McDonald's recently?
Can't say that I have.
Okay,
have you?
Oh, yes. I haven't had McDonald's Coke since this morning.
You have Coke at McDonald's in the morning?
Absolutely. Do you have coffee?
I have coffee.
Okay, you have your sin, I have my sin. $2.50 for a Coke.
Yeah.
And before the Biden administration,
it used to be 99 cents.
It was 99 cents. The United States has endured prolonged and persistent inflation now for 6 years. Yeah. And in some sense, the rise of gasoline prices and
4 of those years, 4 years were Joe Biden
at the gas station. It's like a triggering event. Like it just brings back to all of us the fact that the purchasing power of the dollar has declined so precipitously,
gigantic,
for 6 years now.
Gigantic.
What do you pay for eggs in New York City today?
Well, they're not as high as they were in the last year.
$7, $8, $9.
$8. $8
for a dozen eggs, right?
Like the brown ones.
The brown ones.
That's what we get at home.
I could make so many jokes that I'm going to just sort of skip that moment.
Do you buy your own eggs?
In a typical week, no, but I have been.
Think about that. I've been talking about this for a while. It used to be 99 cents for a large Diet Coke at McDonald's. It used to be that way. I was at the store last night, and they had steak on sale. Strip steak, which is the cheapest cut of steak. It's pretty good steak. It's all right. It was on sale for $11 a pound. 6 years ago, you could buy ribeye on sale for $9 a pound. And it has not gotten much better. And you could try to blame this on Donald Trump, but this ain't about Donald Trump. The price of homes doubled under Joe Biden. The average price of a home went from about $240,000 to $400,000 a year during Joe Biden's administration. And it has been a pain. It has been a bite in the rear end for a very, very long time. Donald Trump is now trying to get our wages back up to try to bring down inflation. We're never going to be back to our prices where they were 6 years ago, but he's at least bringing up wages. Right now, about $3,000 per person per year in manufacturing and growing, and that's going to help. But it is not an easy thing to fix after 4 years of malfeasance and ineptitude by Joe Biden and the academics. Like 65% of his administration were academics, no real life experience, and they really they created a major Charlie Foxtrot. Really, really did. Coming up next, Tony Kinnett, Daily Signal, Kamala Harris' new plan for the future of the Democrat Party, ruling us. Yeah, not going to end well for the Democrat Party. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. So many people living with everyday pain think they're just stuck with it, and it is what it is. But it doesn't have to be. Let me tell you about George from Oregon and his Relief Factor story. George is a hardworking guy, spends 10 hours a day in his garbage truck. It's a tough job, made even harder because he was dealing with sore right knee that he couldn't bend. But here's the amazing part. George started taking Relief Factor, and it changed his life. He said, and I quote, "I can bend my knee again with very little pain." If you're living with aches and pains, see how Relief Factor, a daily drug-free supplement, could help you feel and live better every day. Give their 3-week quick start a try, only $19.95 in a few weeks or even days. Feel the difference Relief Factor can make. You don't have to be stuck living with pain. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF. That's ReliefFactor.com or 800-4RELIEF. Hey guys, it's Carson for Ghost Bed. I am sleeping better than I've ever slept in my entire life. I used to think a mattress was just furniture, but I got a Ghost Bed. Ghost Bed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks. Your body should be healing while you sleep, not fighting for comfort. I noticed immediately, my first night on a Ghost Bed, I slept for 10 hours. If you're waking up stiff, tossing and turning, sleeping hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, hoping tonight will be different, that's not aging. That's your mattress talking. Here's another thing I love about Ghost Bed. You get 101 nights to try it at home. If you don't like the difference, just send it back risk-free. Ghost Bed is currently having their Memorial Day sale plus an extra 10% off for my audience. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson and use promo code Carson. Ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson for the sleep of a lifetime. In New York City, Zoran Mandami is doing an estate tax of up to 50%. That's what he's pushing for. For families leaving behind a life's earnings, that's devastating. What are you leaving for your family? Do you have life insurance? I do, because I want my kids to be able to live a great life, pay off debt, maybe have it a little easier than I did. You can protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get up to $3 million in coverage in as little as 10 minutes by going to ethos.com/Carson. Application times may vary, rates may vary, but protection is there for you. If you get life insurance through Ethos, it'll give you peace of mind in case something happens. Ethos helps provide financial security for your family. Ethos helps protect them in this frequently unpredictable world. There's no medical exam, just answer a few health questions online. Get a rate in as little as 10 minutes. Get the ball rolling today by going to ethos.com/Carson. That's ethos.com/Carson. Before we get to Tony Kinnett, Daily Signal, I want to play Kamala Harris with her No Bad Ideas brainstorm session, recognizing, of course, that you will lose some IQ points listening to her speak. However, Tony's got enough. He should be fine.
Hey, look, this is a moment where there are no bad ideas. A no bad idea brainstorm is what I'd like to call it.
Oh, my God.
And in that,
you ain't got enough brains to have a storm.
No bad ideas brainstorm. We talk
no ideas.
about what we need to do and think about doing around the Electoral College. We talk about the idea of Supreme Court reform, which includes expanding the Supreme Court. We invite a conversation about multi-members districts. We talk about, look, that
losing IQ points.
That if we win the Senate, which we should and we will,
2 + 3 = 7.
Then the Senate Judiciary Committee should have rules that they put
3 + 8 = giraffe.
in place. So when these people come before as nominees to the Supreme Court and lie, that they are held to account and consequence. Not just that somebody goes on.
That's Kamala Harris, Tony Kinnett, Daily Signal. How are you on this glorious Friday, my brother?
I mean, I'm having a stroke after listening to her babble again. I feel like I'm going to need to run for the Senate in Pennsylvania.
Oh, my God. Now, you know, what is the one thing that was missing from her plan for the future of the Democrat Party?
Literacy, sobriety.
Well, that's obvious.
Like that pyramid game.
How about a friggin' plan? How about anything but just breaking down the rules set up by the founders to take away power and rule the American people rather than coming up with a platform for the economy in the future? Dear God, this is what they have.
Well, yeah, I mean, they tried and this is things that a lot of Republicans don't really like to admit, but for a long time there was kind of a soft, unspoken rigging. So in states like Illinois, things were rigged, but it wasn't rigged to the point that it was insanely wild. It was just bad.
Yeah.
So then when Republicans said, okay, we're going to start treating Illinois like it's out in the open and it's not a secret anymore. And so then how does the person who's been cheating respond? It's like, well, I'm going to bring over 50 women to the house, and I'm going to sleep with them in front of you. And the American people are like, oh, my God. That's what's going on. So Kamala Harris is – you can't let us go without talking about that rules in the Judiciary Committee thing. But that's its own animal.
Yes.
Before we touch that, this Electoral College thing, it's stupid.
Yes.
It's retarded.
Yes.
It's embarrassing.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, it's the stuff we've been saying they were going to do for ages.
Yes.
And, again, if you heard her say we needed to start giving Democrat districts multiple representatives per district, excuse me, honey, sweetie baby?
Yeah. Well, this is about ruling the country. This is about taking away the what the founders had envisioned for the country, changing the country, taking away all representation whatsoever. And it's not going to work. Because we're better armed intellectually and physically, by the way, and we won't allow this nonsense to happen. We aren't about ready to just turn over the country to either coast, to the coastal elites of either coast, and just accept what they do. It's never going to work. And that they have no plan at all. They are so lost right now. They're so lost in the wilderness that this is what they haven't. We're going to get Puerto Rico and we're going to add it and we're going to stack the Supreme Court and then we're going to honestly, it's absolutely intellectually bankrupt and it won't happen.
You're far too flattering in the way that you characterize the intellectual bankruptcy of the Democratic Party. Because what you even listed in your mockery, those are things that they can physically do.
Yeah.
Now, they're embarrassing, of course. The worst thing of that entire drunken Zoom rant, where she also throws snide talk at cable outlets because none of them will have her on.
Yes.
She's relegated to doing Zoom podcast interviews.
Yeah.
For podcasts, let's just say that get far fewer views than yours and mine.
Yeah, pretty much.
Anyway.
Pretty much.
The best part was her little rant about the Senate Judiciary rule. We're going to put in rules. So it's like Barney Fife. Number 1, obey all rules. Kind of crap. So that if you come to go for the Supreme Court and they catch you lying, then they're going to what? I mean, she just keeps talking about rules like Al Gore talking about the internet.
Yeah.
What are you do it. That doesn't even make any sense.
Now, I'm not familiar. What you were alluding to, rules changes. What I guess, I'm not really plugged in on everything, but you had alluded to something happening that you. Why don't you tell us what we were talking about there?
So Kamala Harris and her big long rant. She's after she gets through the stuff that we know Democrats have been talking about for ages, all the way from Jim Acosta to Bill Clinton's old campaign manager drinking all the time, crazy old man yelling that stuff. We know what they're going to do. They're going to pack the courts, and we know they're going to add states. We got that. But then she starts talking about adding rules to the Senate Judiciary. And what I believe she means here is that the Senate Judiciary committees need to be given constitutional statutory authority. So if you come before a committee, like you're nominated for something like the Supreme Court, and the Senate Judiciary decides that they think you're lying about something, I assume this means Brett Kavanaugh, then they can throw you in prison from the Senate Judiciary.
Yeah. Okay.
The word I want to use in response to that, I can't legally say over the air.
That would not be very, no. Did you hear the other news? Steve Cohen is dropping out of his re-election campaign. That's what.
Pour one out for the blackest member of Congress.
You know what? God has a sense of humor, Tony. Sometimes a very dark sense of humor when it comes to my life in general. Get sober, turn your life around. Wife wants a divorce. Ha ha! I get that. But the fact that Steve Cohen knew he was going to get defeated when the racial gerrymandering was made illegal, and it would usher in the possibility of a black Republican woman winning, and calling that racism, it's just precious. I mean, it's just precious.
There are a lot of beautiful moments in this country.
Yes.
But again, right after AOC got up in front of the country and started slurring, not quite as drunk as Kamala Harris, but in the same great literacy that we know from Miss Two Branches of Government and the accounting firm setting the Cleveland River on fire lady. That one. It was very kind of her to say that Tennessee was erasing black Congress members. So again, I mean, I'm glad that this guy apparently got the pass. Good for him, I guess. Now he's black. He can do all of the things that apparently only black people can do. Sure, he looks like an old, wrinkly white man that stepped out of a Charles Dickens theater production.
Oh, yeah, he does. Yeah.
I've seen Benjamin Franklin actors that don't look as much like Ben Franklin as Cohen looks.
Yeah, he does. He does exactly right. So nearly a third.
Sponsored by Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Nearly a third of Congressional Black Caucus members could lose their seats, according to an ABC News report, by the way. 19 of the CBC's 62 members. What they fail to admit here is that all of the Congressional Black Caucus members are Democrats. So it's not about being black. It's about being Democrat.
Well, Rob, as one of the members of the Congressional Black Caucus, I'd just like to say I appreciate your standing up for our rights.
Yes.
And look, I have been black, Asian, Canadian, never French.
Yes.
And I'm really looking into dressing up as other things, because apparently you can just do that.
You are as black as Steve Cohen ever dreamed of being.
Wow, I appreciate that. Please remember to wear your favorite Kunta scarf, your Kente scarf, and then kneel on one knee when you come to my birthday, and we'll be even.
All right, so we've got a bunch of other stuff coming up on the other side of the break. Tony Kinnett from the Daily Signal is on the phone with us. As always, he's one of our unusual suspects. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show. Hey, guys.
somebody fell asleep in 1896 and woke up today in 2026, they would simply say the only difference is now Negroes have a TV show and we wear nice suits. They swapped out Klan hoods for Brooks Brothers suits.
You know, that's Bakari Sellers, who, I mean, where the hell did they get this guy? He erased everything that black people have done for the last 130 years. Which includes, I don't know, MLK, let's see, Jesse Owens, Michael Jordan, let's see, Thurgood Marshall, all of it. All of it's gone because Democrats can't racially gerrymander their districts anymore. Tony Kinnett.
The whining and the deep desire to be a victim and pretend as though you are the very last one. This was mocked back in Scripture, right? You had Elijah. He's like, I'm the very last one. Everyone else is gone and dead, and it's so awful. And the Lord said, hey, remember that time you were embarrassing? It's right now.
Yeah.
And this is what's going on national media. You have people going, oh, the civil rights movement actually made it worse. It's terrible. Why? Because we're not allowed to racially segregate anymore. Hang on a second here.
Yeah.
So you want separate voting districts. What other things do you want separated between black and white people? Watering fountains?
Drinking fountains. Why not? You know, they call those bubblers in the Northeast, I guess. That's what they...
Oh,
what are these districts, by the way, other than Democrat representation, what do they have in common? Poverty, poor schools, massive crime. Oh, generally an abortion clinic, Planned Parenthood, on a street named after a civil rights hero. Let's see. What exactly is your representation doing, Democrats? What is it? I mean, I'm just asking the people in these racially gerrymandered districts. It's been hell on earth. Oh, and grievance. I forgot grievance. That's another one of the things. They make sure that you get a pittance and you're angry at Republicans for your situation, even though Democrats have made it.
There's quite a lot to say because they say this is about a color of representation here. Mm-hmm. But when you actually look at how the American African-American community is looked at by many countries around the world who have majority black populations, the attitude is such scorn for the embarrassment and the childish whining. So for example, when I was over in the Middle East recently, I had a chance to talk to a man from Ghana who we actually got to have a couple of conversations about the American people, and he brought up how there is this culture on the Democrat side of the aisle that treats black people like infants.
Yeah.
And he said it's so disgusting because they say that, well, we have to treat them that way because that's the color of their skin. And then he said that if he ever would have acted like that, his dad would have beat him and his mother would have helped. And, well, you know, I thought, man's onto something.
It's infantilizing people. That's what the Democrat Party does with black people. They try to do it with women now, saying that you couldn't get an ID unless you were married. You know, and literally what Democrats were saying when they said women can't get an ID after they get a divorce is they can't survive without a man in their life.
Which is right what you do after you say that women don't need men. Is that, well, they really desperately need men. Yes.
Yeah, So, Tony, what did you think of this trip to China by Donald Trump? I likened, and I sent you the meme that I did, Donald Trump coming off Air Force One versus Barack Obama out of the ass end of Air Force One, like Ace Ventura climbing out of the rear end out of the rhinoceros. I mean, what did this say to the world? I know what it said to China, why they treated Donald Trump this way. What say you?
Well, I think that a big portion of this trip, I was expecting to actually have maybe a couple of tense moments, and it was going to be something that was actually notable. It was really a whole lot of nothing. And that's what I was asked the day before he left. I said, I'm going to tell you what's going to come out of this trip most likely. He's going to go there. There's going to be one big meeting. Both sides are going to walk away going, I'm the winner. And then we're going to find out a couple of days later Trump got a lot of what he wanted.
Yeah.
And boy, howdy, if that isn't exactly what happened. You had all these foreign policy experts, Rob, that were saying, I think that he's going to sell Taiwan and put the Hebrews back in Egypt. And also, he's going to turn Representative Cohen white.
Yes.
And it turned out none of that happened.
No.
Well, I mean, Cohen apparently was already white. But anyway, I mean, come on. I mean, nothing happened.
Yeah.
It was fine. The dude ended up getting some victories. Calm down.
Sold, I think, 20 aircrafts, 20 Boeing superliners to China. That's a big deal. And, to me it said when you're treated like that, it means that you better treat the man right because he's got you over a barrel. And China has not been in this weak a position worldwide in a very long time. I liked Joe Biden and Barack Obama. Who are you going to respect the most? Somebody who puts out on the first date or somebody who makes you work for it? And Joe Biden and Barack Obama were cheap dates, and so they were just treated like, whatever. And China was able to run roughshod over the world under both of them, so he didn't need to treat them with any respect. Donald Trump came in, took back the Panama Canal, got Maduro, went after Iran, is in control of the Strait of Hormuz, essentially, and now China's like, red carpet, baby, be our guest,
I will say this, the funniest thing from this trip to me is that neither of them spoke the other's language, and they didn't have an interpreter babbling in their ear the entire time.
Yeah.
So I like to imagine that when Xi first walked up to President Trump, he was like, ni hao, President Trump. And Trump was like, yes, a very kung pao chicken to you, and some lo mein. It's good to be here, Xi. In the 100-acre wood with you, Winnie the Pooh.
Yes.
I mean, that's what I was hoping happened, because like you said, Obama and Biden were so bent on kissing the feet of that man.
Yeah.
And then Trump comes in and he's like, hey, I believe you have a couple of restaurants on my block. I mean, come on, it's awesome. I love it.
I love it too. Tony, as always, great day. And you had to get the Trump impression in there, by the way. Thank you very much. And the Barney Fife. You had Barney Fife early in the conversation. Very good. Very good. You take the show on the road, brother.
I appreciate it. And, Rob, just a very kung pao chicken to you and your wonderful audience.
Yes, and a Mushu pork to you right back at you. Where can people check out your glorious live podcast?
YouTube.com/Daily Signal, 7 p.m. Eastern. Don't be late.
All right.
We'll see you there.
We'll talk next week. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. He's a funny mother scratcher, isn't he? Funny mother scratcher. Funny. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna talk about in there. Hold on, give me a second. Oh yeah, that's good. Ooh, that's good too. Yeah, I'm gonna do that next. All right. Here we go. All right. Hi guys. Hello, Shannon Sweeney. How are you doing over there on the Facebookage? Dale Arsenault, how you doing? Lindsay Marsden, good day. Robin Patriots, good day. It is a good day. I got a new mountain bike. Did you see on social media? I got a new mountain bike. This thing is a badass, man. This bike weighs probably 85 pounds. It's a motorcycle, all right? It's an electric motorcycle. The thing has got a battery that is, unbelievable. I'll show you a picture. There it is right there. Look at that thing. That's a mountain bike. So I'm going to start riding the mountain bike on the Potomac. It's going to be beautiful. I got a ride date tomorrow morning. Yay! Mick Redchester, hello. How are you over there on the Rumbly Roo and Wild Bill West? Everybody got some plans? Somebody has mentioned some cholesterol medicines. Statins are a joke. Everybody I know who's ever on statins, including my mother, was messed up. Just get rid of all the crap in your diet. Get rid of all the seed oils. Have Cheerios for breakfast. Get rid of cheese. Hey, can I have a little bit of cheese? Cheerios for breakfast. All of the seed oils. Everything. If you get potato chips, get with olive oil. If you get popcorn, get it with coconut oil. Get rid of every ounce of vegetable oil and all that crap. I lost 90 points of my cholesterol in 90 days. Do not do statins. I'm not offering you medical advice, but statins just mess you up. Everybody thinks, I can eat anything if I take statins, and also they're recognizing cholesterol isn't exclusively bad. All right, here we go. Yesterday on Air Force One, Eric Trump went off and talked about how sweet it was to defeat the left when they tried so hard to destroy Donald Trump and his family. Listen to this. It's epic.
I'm extremely pissed off. I sat there with my father every single day for 6 months. In every courtroom across the country, I would not leave his side.
So did we.
I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off of what they brought him through, what they did to him. But honestly, the greatest victory in the world to me, you asked whether or not 2024 or 2016 was sweeter. I love beating Hillary Clinton. I loved seeing Hillary Clinton go down. But honestly, given what they tried to do to destroy a man's life, to destroy a family, given how vicious they were, there was no better revenge than what we felt in 2024. When against every odd once again. I think the first time against Hillary, the New York Times gave us, what, a 1.9% chance of winning, that morning, election morning.
Yeah.
You remember they were faking the exit polls. In fact, you called me about the exit polls that night and
said it was BS.
They were leaking these exit polls that were totally ridiculous. In 2024, when we won against all odds, despite the fact that, again, they tried to bankrupt him, they tried to destroy the family, they tried to put him in jail, they did everything they could to make sure that he didn't have a voice, that his First Amendment was gone. That was the greatest victory of all. And now when you see what he's doing, I just couldn't be more proud of the guy.
Yeah, me too. This is why I'm here. This is why you're here with me. Because we endured this. We watched this. For years, we suffered. When Joe Biden was the president, we suffered. We were censored. We were hurt. Our dollar went to nothing. We watched all of this. We listened as Oliver Anthony came up with the song Richmond, North of Richmond, and it hit home for us because we were suffering. We had to do 2 or 3 jobs to pay the bills. I had to sell cars, for God's sake, walking 9 to 11 miles a day with peripheral neuropathy in my feet, wanting to cut my feet off when I got home. And then we had to watch Donald Trump to go through all of this, watch them throw everything at us, and we never gave up. We were unrelenting. We believed. And when the presidential primaries came around, we said, why even bother? Why even bother? Nikki Haley, why even bother? And then Donald Trump won 99 out of 100 counties in Iowa, and it was then, and we never gave up. We never surrendered, even as they tried to take his life twice. This is why Tucker Carlson will never understand it. He's a blue blood country club elite. Megyn Kelly will never understand it. Alex Jones will never understand it because he's freaking crazy. You will never understand what you are up against. We are unrelenting. MAGA is something completely different. It's not about a man. It's about a movement. That's it. We never gave up, and we're never going to give up, and we're only getting stronger. We are only getting stronger. This year, the 250th anniversary of our birth, there's a reason why this man is the president in these times. This is a movement that is of good, that is of God, that is of freedom, that is of dedication to the greatest engine of individual and economic liberty in the history of the world, the United States of America, and you haters can disappear into the dustbin of history. Bye-bye. Hour number 2 of the Rob Carson Show. Woo, I need to take a breather. Coming up. Don't go anywhere.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Chapter, Medicare Guidance Simplified.
You don't need to live with aches and pains. Visit relieffactor.com today.
about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
And by the grace of God, it is finally Friday. Welcome to hour number 2 of the show. We're going to be talking to Mary Walter at the bottom of the hour. Always a delightful conversation with Mary. I've got a bunch of stuff that I've saved up from the last week or so. We like to do a little, loosened up a little bit on Fridays. Rush used to do Open Line Friday. Remember that Open Line Friday kind of loosened things up a little bit. And, generally I kind of look at going from Thursday to Friday as the, give me a chance to breathe a little bit. But, of course, that goes out the window immediately because I dive right back into the show prep and all of that stuff. By the way, my TV show is called Rob Carson's What in the World? It is on Newsmax on the weekends, 3 in the afternoon on Saturday. I know it doesn't make any sense having a comedy show in the middle of the afternoon, but you know what? I got a comedy show in the middle of the afternoon. Who cares? I got a comedy show. So there you go, 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday, 8:30 Sunday night. Following Dr. Michael Savage, Donald Trump watches my show every week and retruths me frequently, by the way. And he's actually told me that I'm the funniest guy on television. That's a pretty big deal. So, check out the show. Newsmax TV is awesome. Get the Newsmax app. Get a Newsmax Plus membership. I watch Newsmax on YouTube TV. YouTube TV's not... You know what I've been watching a lot lately? Just YouTube. I got this projection little Oculus TV. Have you ever seen one of these things? It's the size of a thermos, like an old-timey thermos in your lunchbox when you were a kid. Gen Xers, I'm talking to you guys. It's about that size, and it projects a 10-foot across television on the wall. And so I like last night I was putting together this new mountain bike. I got a mountain bike. This thing weighs like 85 pounds. It's just unbelievable. I put it up on social media. I got this new mountain bike, and I was just watching YouTube, and I was watching like Key and Peele best of stuff, and then I'll watch something about like the creation of the universe, and then I'll what is it? Fool Us. The magicians. I'm drawing a blank on the names. Anyway, Penn and Teller, Fool Us. I always watch Penn and Teller, Fool Us whenever there's somebody on there who fools us. Am I the only person who... And then I'll watch these adoption videos where, you got the people sitting there at the Humane Society and they release the dog and the dog walks down the aisle and they find the person they want to be with. And I'm sitting there by myself going, oh my God, this is so beautiful. I'm by myself. That's my life. So... You should feel better about yourself now. You can serve as an example or a warning to others. I like to say I'm a little bit of both. My life serves as an example and a warning. There you go. Got a couple of headlines here. U.S. senators vote to withhold their own pay in government shutdowns. U.S. senators agreed Thursday to suspend their own pay during government shutdowns in an effort to force Congress to share the financial pain after a series of funding standoffs that upended the federal government. Here's an idea. How about this? No pay until you pass the damned SAVE Act. How about that? How about no pay until you pass the damned SAVE Act? How about no pay until you do what we ask you to do you? How about that, John Thune? How about we just cut off your pay individually for the rest of your tenure in Congress? How about that? Ridiculous. So that's what they're doing. It's supposed to be a victory, I guess. But, I'll take it. I mean, hell, John Kennedy put that together, so thanks to him. A bill that would revoke existing visas from the close family members of terrorists and prohibit future ones from being obtained has been introduced by Tom Cotton, following reports the Iranian regime's officer Qasem Soleimani's niece and grandniece were living in the United States illegally. Remember that? She was the niece and grandniece of Soleimani. We're living here, 47-year-old Hamadabadaba Soleimani and 25-year-old Sabalabadaba. Both had been granted asylum by judges in 2019. Asylum right, even though one of them actually returned to Iran like 4 or 5 times. And they were living the lap of luxury, all sorts of money. This is what happens even in Iran where the mullah's in charge. The mullah's got homes in London and all these places. They steal just like all the other despots of the world always do. But now apparently... You can inadmissibility that prevents spouses, parents, children, siblings, grandchildren, nieces, and nephews of dangerous foreign adversaries from receiving an American visa or otherwise being allowed to move to the country. Well, that's about time that happened, right? Right. Oh, this is something else. During the Biden administration, H-1B visa holders were buying houses with 97 to 100% financing. 97% would come from the FHA, with the rest coming from state first-time buyer home program, zero money down. So FHA loans to non-permanent residents grew to represent 6% of mortgages. Meanwhile, you and I had to come up with 10 or 15 or 20%. Really? That's what happened? Yeah. Not only American workers forced to compete for jobs, also forced to compete in the housing market against people bringing 0 to 3% of the house's cost to the closing table versus 10 to 20% for us. Versus 10 to 20% of us. These workers from the H-1B generally concentrated in certain geographic areas, created more demand for housing, driving up home prices, hence the reason why housing prices doubled under Joe Biden and why homes are unaffordable right now for so many people. They didn't even have to have a down payment. The H-1B visa holders didn't. They could have had a $500,000 house for no money down. Meanwhile, you and I had to cash in a 401k or, whatever, sell a kidney to put money down on a house. Isn't that nice how they just treated us? Isn't that just wonderful? It is. Donald Trump went off on the media because they've been lying about Iran. We are just beating the snot out of Iran. It's not even close. And I've never seen anything like this ever. I mean, back when there was Operation Desert Storm, you had people like Dick Turban who were immediately saying, the wall of war is lost in all of this. But literally on day one of Epic Fury, we had people like Chris Murphy, who's just a detestable human being, saying it was already a disaster, and the media just gobbling it up. And it really is a slap in the face to all of the soldiers, all of the military members, all of the pilots, all of the crew, all of the, everybody involved in our military who did such a brilliant job in the Air Force and the Navy in taking down this regime, this terrorist regime. No longer a threat of terror in the world, by the way. Their tentacles are shriveling up. They're leaving Hamas and Hezbollah dying on the vine. They have been causing terror around the world for 47 years, declaring war on us. What you didn't know, maybe you didn't know, this is CENTCOM yesterday, is that one of the many reasons why we went after these B-words in Iran not only was the fact that they had the material for nuclear weapons and they had the missiles to reach places like London. We know that now. But they were also attacking the hell out of us.
I think it's important to note, just in the 30 months before Epic Fury commenced, Iran and its proxies had been attacking U.S. service members and diplomats about 350 times.
But they weren't a threat to us at all.
Can you repeat that?
Other than the attacks and stuff.
About every third day, Iran and its proxies attacked American service members 350 times in the Middle East.
I don't think that Americans were aware of that in the 30 months that they had attacked Americans or their service members 350 times. Does that surprise you that I would say that?
It's disappointing, but between the actions of proxies in Iraq and Syria, as well as the Houthis, that's simply the fact of what happened.
Yeah, it's a fact. And then so Donald Trump, basically the reason why you don't know that is because the jerks on ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC, MS Now, whatever the hell it is, CNN, all of the PBS, NPR, PBR, whatever the hell, they lied about it. They've been lying about it. Here's Donald Trump taking them to task.
We've had a total victory, except by people like you that don't write the truth.
Yeah.
You should write. I actually think it's sort of treasonous what you write, but you and the New York Times and CNN, I would say, are the worst.
Yeah. On another war.
You should know better than you're a professional. You know better. Your editors tell you what to write, and you write it. You should be ashamed of yourself.
This is another war.
I actually think it's treason. When you write like they're doing well militarily and they have no Navy, no Air Force, no anti-anything. By the way,
they would have said after Hiroshima, yeah, Japan's really kicking our butts.
About 85% of their manufacturing for the missiles. We knocked out everything. We haven't knocked out other than one bridge that we did because they misbehaved. But we have bridges we could knock out. We could knock out their bridges and their electrical capacity within 2 days. We could knock out the whole thing. And then I read the New York Times and they act like they're doing well. And everybody knows that. That's why your subscribers are way down. You know, the Times subscribers are way down because it's fake news. Non-subscribers disgusting.
Honestly, who looks at the New York Times as any way, shape, or form a credible news source anymore? Very few people in the grand scheme of things. Here is the latest from sitcom with the truth.
The numbers that I've seen in open source are not accurate. I think what also is not taken into consideration, it's more than just the numbers. It's the command and control that's been shattered. In less than 40 days, CENTCOM forces achieved our military objectives.
We did.
Most notably, we degraded Iran's ability to project power outside its borders and threaten the region and threaten our interests.
That's not what Chris Murphy said yesterday, but he's
or outside its borders and threaten the region and threaten our interests.
Yeah, but there's a lot of other successes as well. Here is a little montage of CENTCOM and Scott Bessent, our Treasury Secretary.
Capability have been significantly degraded. If I just use my own professional experience, and 100 transits through the Strait of Hormuz, you would typically see 20 to 40 fast boats, and lately we've seen 2 or 3.
Karg Island, we've seen that there have been no loadings in the past 3 days. We believe there's...
What? Really? Yeah.
Storage is full. None of the ships are getting out. None are coming in, so they're not able to store oil on the water. So they're going to start shutting down their... they're going to start shutting down their production. I think that they are on their last legs, and the blockade, President Trump's blockade, has been a resounding success.
Yeah, 100%. And remember, every time that you lie about the success of our military, you're slapping our military members in the face. You never had to make any kind of sacrifice. You never raised your hand and said that you'd give your life for the country to defend the Constitution and the country is founded. You never did that. You just work at a newspaper. So there you go. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Rob Carson. Hey guys, it's Carson. If you are on Medicare or about to be, you could be overpaying right now and never know it. Here's why. Millions of seniors are in a plan that doesn't fit their needs. Because Medicare is complicated, many brokers just steer people into plans that pay them the most. That's absurd. That is so absurd, I decided to write a little slogan for it. Medicare sure ain't fair, and choosing a plan is a bear. Pick a plan with a broker if you dare, and you might end up with a scare. Okay, listen, it's a little rough. You need to know about Chapter. They're the only national advisor that looks at every plan in the country, matches your doctors, your prescriptions, and your situation to a plan that fits your needs. With Chapter, you'll see what a plan actually costs when you need it, not just the $0 some plans advertise. Your doctors are covered and your prescriptions are too. You'll have confidence you have the coverage you need. A call with Chapter is free, takes about 20 minutes. If you're turning 65 or already on Medicare, call 27-MEDICARE. Again, that's 27-MEDICARE. Call 27-MEDICARE today.
Deported. 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 Get them out. Ready? Are you ready? Get them out of here. Get them out of here. Get the hell out of here.
Fasten your seatbelt, Deep State. It's gonna be a bumpy ride. It's the Rob Carson Show.
First, they let in 10 million illegal migrants during the Biden administration. Second step, create sanctuary jurisdictions, which makes it tough to remove those illegal migrants, even when they commit another crime. And then third, the Democrats say, we're not going to fund the guys that do the removing. We're not going to fund ICE. They shut down the government for 70-some days. And that is the situation in 18 states, 11 cities, actually the other way around, 18 cities, 11 states, 3 counties, and the District of Columbia. But because those are big cities, big states, that's almost a third of the population lives in a jurisdiction where, again, local law enforcement is not allowed to work with federal law enforcement to enforce federal law. But Mr. Descano takes it even a step further. He takes it a step further and says, I'm not even going to prosecute the guys who do terrible things.
Worst person in the world to be yesterday was Fairfax County prosecuting attorney Steve Descano. And he deserves it. He should have been ridden out of town on a rail. Tarred and feathered, by the way, as with so many of these Soros-supported prosecutors who allow illegals to go out and have caused untold damage and death and destruction, murder, rape, child trafficking, on and on and on and on, and they invited this piece of crap to Capitol Hill to grill him on some of the things that he has done in this county where I live, by the way, Fairfax County, where 75% of the murders have been committed by illegal alien criminals.
Take another example. Marvin Morales Ortiz had this long rap sheet, but on September 12, 2025, he's arrested for malicious assault and brandishing a gun. Mr. Descano says, we're not going to prosecute this guy. Sheriff Kincaid says, we're not going to honor the detainer. And they release him on December 16th, 2025. And what happens on December 17th, 2025? He kills someone. Yeah. That's the consequences of this dumb, stupid, crazy policy.
You know, Stephanie Mentor was 41 years old. She had a daughter. She was gutted at a bus stop here a couple months ago, not too far from where I live, just for being there, by a guy who had been arrested 40 damn times. Abdul Jallo, 40 times. Police warned, said the prosecutor, says, you've got to put this guy in jail. He's going to kill people.
Ms. Minter's going to talk about Stephanie Minter. The chairman talked about Abdul Jallo, who had this 40 past charges, had all kinds of things. This guy had been arrested and charged with multiple crimes, malicious wounding, stealing property, larceny, trespass, disorderly conduct, malicious wounding, 100 involvements with the local police, the local law enforcement.
He stabbed an older man and so badly broke the knife off in him.
Told Mr. Descano's office, if you let this guy out, he's going to do something bad. And he stabbed and killed someone. Here's the craziest part of all, and the chairman mentioned this. Mr. Descano told us he was going to do it. Mr. Descano's office will take immigration consequences into account when making charging and plea decisions. This is unbelievable.
Yeah. He said they would take the status of your immigration into consideration when it came to sentencing. Here is Jim Jordan asking him why he changed his website to take that out of it.
I think the voters might be interested in that.
This is your campaign website where you said, our office will take immigration consequences into account when making charging and plea decisions. Immigration consequences were certainly part of the game here, part of the issue here with Mr. Morales-Ortiz.
No, they weren't.
You decided
they absolutely
not to
were not. You
are
assuming something that is in fact untrue, because you are misrepresenting my policies.
Listen.
My policies do not say that we do not prosecute people.
Well, if you're proud of your policies, why'd you change your website?
Because that's not my policy, as I told you, sir.
Really?
That is a campaign statement that I made before I was Commonwealth
It had been
Supreme.
up for 6 years.
Yes.
A week after we send you a letter saying we want you to come testify, shazam,
Boom.
you change it.
Because
I'm
I
just
could not-
asking, is that coincidental?
Because I could not believe that people were so obtuse that they could not realize
We're obtuse, dear God.
difference between a campaign statement and an actual office policy.
So when you make campaign statements, those aren't true? You're not being honest with your voters?
That's not what I'm saying at all, sir.
Sure sounded like it.
Sure
sounded like it.
It's absolutely not. What I'm saying is that when you
still haven't told me why you took it. You still haven't told me why you took it.
Yeah, you know what? He's stuck. He's got his pants down, by the way. This is Brandon Gill about another guy who he raped a 13-year-old, and the charges were dropped.
I want to better understand how you weigh an illegal alien's immigration status whenever you're making charging decisions. Do you know who Ander Jose Cortez Mendez is? Are you familiar with that case?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is a Guatemalan illegal alien who was arrested in March of 2024. He was initially charged with, quote, carnal knowledge of a 13 to 14-year-old. Just for those of us who aren't lawyers, can you describe just very briefly what does carnal knowledge of a 13 to 14-year-old mean in this context?
Well, sir, generally a charge like that would typically refer to underage sex.
Okay, so he raped an underage person, an illegal alien who raped an underage American.
Yeah.
Your office reduced those charges to a misdemeanor charge of consensual sex with a child 15 years and older. You offered him a 90-day suspended jail sentence. Is that correct?
Sir, based on the evidence that we had in the case?
So it is correct.
This has happened all over the damn country. We're sick and frickin' tired of it. We're sick and tired of it. And it's time these people got held accountable to it. This is Descano with Jason Miera's former AG of the state of Virginia.
Well, first of all, sir, I think there's two things wrong with it in the question that you asked me. We're not protecting undocumented individuals.
Yes, you are.
As a matter of fact, we prosecute people who commit crimes in Fairfax County regardless of their status. And
you let them out because they're illegal.
So the idea that we don't do that is simply wrong. Our policies simply maintain that our role is to prosecute Virginia crime. That's what we do.
Bullcrap.
ICE's role is to do federal civil immigration enforcement.
Mr. Miera, you disagree with that?
Fundamentally, he has a written policy to that effect. He is conflating two different issues. He's simply saying, well, I prosecute all crimes. At the same time, he has a written policy saying that illegal immigrants are going to be treated and given preferential treatment differently from American citizens. On one hand, he sits in front of this committee and says, we don't follow sanctuary policies. At the same time, he openly admits he conducts himself in a manner in which he does not cooperate federal immigration authorities. That's the very definition of sanctuary policies. No, I fundamentally disagree with his assessment. There are 95 counties in Virginia, Congressman. Only one county with one prosecutor has a written policy saying we're going to treat illegal immigrants differently than
Yeah, time for you to go. Bye-bye. And this has got to sweep all the way across the country. We're done. Mary Walter joins us next. Don't go anywhere. In New York City, Zoran Mandami is doing an estate tax of up to 50%. That's what he's pushing for. For families leaving behind a life's earnings, that's devastating. What are you leaving for your family? Do you have life insurance? I do, because I want my kids to be able to live a great life, pay off debt, maybe have it a little easier than I did. You can protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get up to $3 million in coverage in as little as 10 minutes by going to ethos.com/Carson. Application times may vary, rates may vary, but protection is there for you. If you get life insurance through Ethos, it'll give you peace of mind in case something happens. Ethos helps provide financial security for your family. Ethos helps protect them in this frequently unpredictable world. There's no medical exam, just answer a few health questions online. Get a rate in as little as 10 minutes. Get the ball rolling today by going to ethos.com/Carson. That's ethos.com/Carson. For 250 years, Americans have believed in one powerful idea, that we were meant to live free to work hard, free to move, free to enjoy life without being held back. But if everyday aches and pains are slowing you down, might be time to declare your independence from pain. I did with Relief Factor. That's how I'm able to crush it at the gym every day. Thank you very much. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free, research-based formula designed to help your body fight inflammation, one of the root causes of pain. It's not a quick fix or a temporary mask. It works from the inside out, at the source. Relief Factor was created so people could get back to living life on their terms, walking, working, exercising, and enjoying the moments that matter. This year, as we celebrate 250 years of American independence, take a stand for your own freedom. Declare your independence from pain. Try Relief Factor today for just $19.95. Your 3-week quick start is ready for you. Visit relieffactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF. Hey guys, it's Carson for Ghost Bed. I am sleeping better than I've ever slept in my entire life. I used to think a mattress was just furniture, but I got a Ghost Bed. Ghost Bed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks. Your body should be healing while you sleep, not fighting for comfort. I noticed immediately, my first night on a Ghost Bed, I slept for 10 hours. If you're waking up stiff, tossing and turning, sleeping hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, hoping tonight will be different, that's not aging. That's your mattress talking. Here's another thing I love about Ghost Bed. You get 101 nights to try it at home. If you don't like the difference, just send it back risk-free. Ghost Bed is currently having their Memorial Day sale plus an extra 10% off for my audience. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson and use promo code Carson. Ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson for the sleep of a lifetime. In New York City, Zoran Mandami is doing an estate tax of up to 50%. That's what he's pushing for. For families leaving behind a life's earnings, that's devastating. What are you leaving for your family? Do you have life insurance? I do, because I want my kids to be able to live a great life, pay off debt, maybe have it a little easier than I did. You can protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get up to $3 million in coverage in as little as 10 minutes by going to ethos.com/Carson. Application times may vary, rates may vary, but protection is there for you. If you get life insurance through Ethos, it'll give you a song because the stream is still streaming some other audio. So if I can get that to get killed real quick here, if you just do, there you go, now I can do this.
But there's something about Mary that they don't know. Mary, there's just something about Mary.
I'm gonna leave that right there, because I don't want to know what I don't know about Mary. All I know is that Mary Walter joins us on the Newsmax hotline. Hello, how are you on this glorious Friday?
Happy Friday, my friend. How are you?
I'm glorious. So, what are you were on break for a little while. You're back at home and all that stuff in lovely New Jersey, taking it all in.
No, yeah. No, my in-laws, my husband's family has a house in upstate New York, and everybody, it's our job to open the house in the beginning of summer, and his brothers closed it, so we have to get the boats out of the marina and all that good stuff. And every time we go, it is raining and ridiculously cold. Every single time. We get a power going the entire time we're there.
You got to do the one at the end of summer. You got to do the one where they winterize.
Exactly. And it snowed one year when we were up there. I'm like, dude, you have got to be kidding me. This is ridiculous. But so froze. We were freezing the whole time. I never bring warm enough clothes. You'd think I'd learn. Of
course.
But it was fun. We went up with the friends.
It's best to have friends with a vacation home, pool, and boat. That's all there is to it. You never want to own them yourself. No pool?
Yeah, no pool. It's a lake. It's on a lake. It's on Lake George. And boats and wave runners and canoes and kayaks and paddle boards and all that good stuff.
I love it. Got a lot of stuff to get to. You sent me this headline. Mississippi GOP governor drops election pledge in huge setback for Trump's midterm plan. What is this with regard to redistricting?
Well, thank you for prepping and reading what I sent you.
I couldn't open it. I tried to open it on my app, but it wouldn't open it. And I was also preparing for a nationally syndicated radio show.
Oh, God forbid you do that in advance. So yes, he had pledged that he was going to do this, and then he decided he's not doing it. So this kind of sets back the Republicans a little bit, because these southern states that were under this voting rights restriction on their redistricting, and they had to have separate districts based on race, since that was overturned, Mississippi is one of those states.
Gotcha.
And he is not doing that now. And I'm sure President Trump is not happy, but he's got bigger fish to fry right now in China.
Yeah, what did you think of the trip to China? What did you think of the trip to China? What did you think of the trip to China? I thought it was pretty cool. It's certainly a far cry from Barack Obama getting out of the rear end of Air Force One and Joe Biden wandering off the plane and nobody there to greet him.
Well, first of all, Joe Biden didn't know he was there, so no harm, no foul. Probably why they didn't come out to greet him. They're like, he's never going to know, right?
Yes.
Like, I'm going to a 1-year-old's birthday party tomorrow.
Yeah.
I could bring anything as a gift. I could bring the kid an empty box and she'd be thrilled.
Yeah, take your toddler to Disney World. See what it does for you.
Exactly. Nothing. They're never going to remember it. So Barack Obama having it off in the back of the plane, by the way, was that just not fitting after what he did to Netanyahu, making him come in the back door?
Yeah.
I was just like, you know what? Now you know how he felt. What goes around comes around, Barack.
100%.
I thought that was awesome.
100%.
I don't know everything that's going on there. Trump's being very, very cordial and very welcoming in the sense of, always a great leader and this and that. I don't know. We don't know what's being said behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Things are leaking out, but I don't believe the leak. I don't know if what's coming out is real. And so I'm not going to get wrapped up in it at this point and get way too early.
Here's the thing. You got a velvet glove around an iron fist. That's Donald Trump. There you go. I made that analogy yesterday on the show. And, of course, it was brilliant.
No one's ever made that analogy before, so that's pretty cool.
Nobody ever has. Thank you very much. So, normally I don't talk about The View on the show because it's just such a disaster. And it's so, every day is an exercise in stupidity and frustration. Yeah. Stupidity on their part and frustration on our part. But Sonny Hostin is stepping in, and now I got a soundbite you sent me. I'm going to go, because I did some show prep. And I've got a stack of things I'm going to share with you that I've been saving for a week because I knew you were going to be on the air because I do show prep.
To be fair, I sent you this story.
Yes, you did. But that would be the only because okay, here we go.
This idea was also explored in a book called Black Athena. I think people should read it, which argues that classical Greek culture is heavily indebted to Afro-Asiatic and Near Eastern roots. I actually taught Greek mythology to 8th graders. And so I covered this.
Fun fact.
So people that are saying that Helen of Troy could not possibly be played by a black woman don't know history.
But you know what? This whole Helen of Troy and this Achilles played by Elliot Page and all this nonsense. I don't think Elliot Page, as a woman who now has a mastectomy and a hysterectomy, should play that. It's like it's a woman playing James Bond. But at the same time, actors play different parts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it. And during Shakespeare, the men played all the parts, and so they would dress as women, blah, blah. I judge these things. as if the reverse were true.
Yeah.
So if there were a play that had a trans character and a non-trans character played, an actual woman played the part of the trans man, they would lose their minds because it's not authentic. Hamilton, we had to sit there and say it was totally cool to have all minority people play the founding fathers when not one of them was a minority, right?
That's true.
So if you're going to lose your mind this way, then what you're proposing the other way is totally illegitimate. I don't pay any attention to it. I don't even know anything about Elliot Page playing that. I don't know. I don't care because I ain't going to go see it, so it doesn't matter.
Neither am I. I got a couple of things I brought here to the table here I want to share with you. You know, most popular baby names. You know, every year they have the most popular baby names. And when we named our kids, we named our son Will. It was a family name. We named our daughter Avery because we just liked the name. We just liked it. It wasn't necessarily because we were looking at a popular. I'm trying to figure out why people, why there's a top 10 baby names. Why we collectively like certain names every year. Is it part of suggestion? I don't think anybody goes, oh, everybody's naming their kid this. I want to name my kid this. What do you suppose that comes from?
I think parents, for whatever reason, like our generation of parents wanted our kids to be different. Didn't want them to all have the same name.
Yeah.
And then the generation we raised took it further and started naming their kids like kale and banana and apple and then Brie. I love the Bries running around. Every time I hear that, I'm like, oh, her name's Brie. I'm like, does she have a brother at home named Cheddar? Why would you name your child after cheese? Yes. I don't understand.
And then there's black names like Shakira, Shaliqua, and all these names that and literally Key and Peele made fun of it when they do the rundown for the college players. And all of the names, because obviously African-American names in America, very different, very unique. Give them credit for being really unique. Don't get me wrong. Very, very unique versus like my family, Robert John, Richard John. There you go.
Yeah. So here's my thing. I'm a big fan of you should name your kids something that they can go through life with, and that they're not going to be judged when someone's looking at their resume, right? Which we don't even do. But anyway, someone's not going to get a preconceived notion from their name. So my dad is German, so when they were pregnant, they didn't know if it was a boy or a girl because she didn't know back then. Gotcha. And he wanted to name me Kachin because that's my tante Kachin, his aunt Kachin, which is Catherine. Okay. And my mother said, absolutely not. They're going to run calling her Kitchen. So that's off the table. And I had a cousin, okay? I had a cousin who he had two older brothers, Michael and John, and then they named him William. So he was William Walter. Gotcha. And the two older boys ran around calling him Wee Willie Walter.
Oh, and no.
So my uncle, without telling my aunt, went down to town hall and for $5 changed the kid's name to Robert.
Really? Well, I had a rule when my son, we named him William, and I said, you are never going to be a Willie, you're never going to be a Bill, and you're never going to be a Billy. It's not going to happen. If you even hint at that, if one of your friends calls you that, I'm going to go to their house and I'm going to terrify them. I'm going to tell them, you don't call my son Billy. Do you hear that? You hear that? There you go. I've got a little bit more on this on the other side of the break and some other things like why mosquitoes are attracted to some people. Do you get eaten by mosquitoes when you're outside?
Sometimes it depends on where I am. I don't really pay. I try not to be outside during when mosquitoes are outside because it's annoying.
All right, let's take a break and come back. More with the kitchen in a second here. This is the Rob Carson Show.
WCBM.
Got to rejoin.
One thing I would like to see updated is the word homeless to the word unhoused.
How about new?
Yeah. More with Mary Walter in a moment. Supply constraints on commodities cause prices to go up. We know this. Strait of Hormuz, price of oil. Frost in the orange groves caused the price of OJ to go up a little bit there. Droughts in whatever part of the country could mean that your tomatoes cost more. It just happens. The same goes with gold. You can't print more gold. You just dig it up and then you sell it. And then if you don't have any, you got to buy it. And it goes up and down. But it really went up the last couple of years. And right now, Birch Gold giving you an opportunity to buy into gold right now through the 29th of this month. It's already the 15th. My gosh. Birch Gold giving away first-time gold buyers a rebate up to $10,000 on qualifying purchases. It's holding steady, about $4,600 right now. It was $2,600 2 years ago. And it was $5,600 in January. So it's giving you a little time to get in. Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA and physical gold. Text my name, Rob, to 989898 to see if you qualify for a first-time gold buyer rebate up to $10,000. Again, text Rob to 989898 today. By the way, I mentioned the names for boys and girls. Liam, number 1, Noah, Oliver, Theodore, Henry, James, Elijah, Mateo, William, and Lucas. Those are the boys. Olivia, number 1, Charlotte, Emma, Amelia, Sophia, Mia, Isabella, Evelyn, Sophia, Eliana. Those are pretty traditional for this year. Wouldn't you say, Mary Walter?
They are. I'm actually going to a 1-year birthday party for Amia tomorrow.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah,
So,
I could think of other things I do on my Saturday than go to a birthday party for a 1-year-old.
I know.
Here
But
I am.
see, there are some things that are beneficial about having a 1-year-old. For instance, you can take them trick-or-treating and you get all the candy. They're little things. You can use your 1-year-old for a lot of things.
I don't get to do that because it's not my kid, so I don't get that benefit.
That's true. Are you taking it? What are you going to give for a present?
I'm giving her clothes because she is not going to remember anything. I could give this kid a paper bag for her to crawl around and she'd be happy as hell. So it doesn't matter.
Gotcha.
So I got, because it's a girl, so I got cute little outfits.
Very nice.
Make me happy, and that's
that. Is nice.
Yeah.
What are things that cause people to be mosquito magnets? When I'm out, I generally don't get eaten alive by mosquitoes. I don't have to put citronella out. I don't have to do all that. I don't have to put the spray on and all that. But like my ex, she had to put it on because she would get eaten alive. But one of the things that could make you more attractive to mosquitoes, and maybe this is one of the reasons I haven't been drinking like 5 years, is that if you got a little booze in your system, the mosquitoes tend to go toward you. And what would you rather have, a Bloody Mary, a virgin Bloody Mary, or a real one?
Neither.
You don't like Bloody Marys?
No.
No, okay. Even with the name Mary?
Yeah. No, it has a lot to do, I also read it has a lot to do with hormones, and women are much more likely to get eaten by mosquitoes than men are because, yes, because why not?
Yeah.
Just add it to the list.
Yeah, exactly.
When the mosquitoes come out, I go in. I'm like, I'm not playing this game.
Yeah.
I'm not. They want to. I'm out.
Yeah.
I can go inside and sit, and then when it gets later, you can go back outside. It's the dusk period when they're out. So why should I feed them? Because they're just going to keep coming back.
Yeah, range of sensory cues can cause mosquitoes to pick one human or the other, mainly the smell and heat our bodies gives off and the carbon dioxide we exhale. So there you go.
Exactly.
There you go. Hey, you know what's making a comeback? When you were in college...
Wait.
What?
Hold on.
What?
If this is the carbon dioxide that you exhale, how the hell did you not get eaten? Because you talk all the time.
Oh, dude, I exhale so much carbon dioxide. I mean, I probably caused Kilimanjaro to be ice-free for a year.
But you see, so maybe it's not so much that. You, in and of yourself, are a case study in mosquitoes and carbon dioxide.
Yes. But they don't eat me. They don't dig me. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know. Maybe it's all the garlic. Eating healthy. You know, they got a new diet now, and we've, in our lifetime, we've seen, we saw that. Remember the caveman diet? Remember the cabbage soup diet in the 90s where they, literally, it was the diet you give people before heart surgery. That's how desperate people are to lose weight. Well, how stupid are these diets, right?
Well, I think it depends. I think first of all, it should be a diet. It should be a lifestyle change.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You got to do a lifestyle change.
Yes.
And I'm a big fan of everything in moderation. I was talking to yesterday. I was at Macy's, and I was talking with a saleswoman who was telling me because they didn't have my dress. They don't make my dress in the size that I need. Mm-hmm. They don't make it because Americans are getting bigger, so they don't make it in my size anymore. Mm-hmm. They don't So anyway,
Mm-hmm.
so she goes, oh, I wish I was so small, blah, 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 blah. She goes, oh, I'm so big. So getting this conversation, and she's been a vegan for since her son was born because he was food allergies. So now she can't eat meat. She can't eat protein. She can't do that. So all she eats are vegetables.
Oh, dear God.
And I'm like, you gotta eat protein, and she's having a hard time with it. So when you go on these extreme diets, I believe it's really hard to get back on it. Like people who do the gluten free. I'm gluten free. I'm like, good. You're never gonna enjoy another bagel in your life, honey, unless you get off that thing.
It's
right?
ridiculous. Moderation in all things, and occasionally to excess. That's my rule of thumb.
Exactly.
Well, the new diet is called the Bible diet. So it's and listen, this is. It's no food additives, no nonsense, no man-made chemicals, all of that crap. You're just sticking with meats and carbs, natural carbs. Occasionally, you have to sacrifice a lamb on an altar. That's the only difference.
Well, I'm not a big fan of lamb, so there's that. So
There you
I
go,
can probably get away with not that. But I will say, since we were in Israel, we've become big fans of Mediterranean, Middle Eastern food.
100%.
And so I find myself using a lot of feta and olives and tomatoes and
hummus
and all that kind of stuff, which is really, really good for you.
100%. All right, listen, we got to run.
Wait, hold on.
What?
Somebody tagged me in a post on X Greg, who watches my podcast every Tuesdays at 7:15 p.m. on Rumble, YouTube, and Getter, and he said Rob is too busy posting pictures of his new bicycle for any show preparation.
And my new AI headshots with my private jet that you just saw. And no,
that's on your
it's
dating
not on my
profile,
dating profile.
It 100% is on your dating profile.
No, it's
and you
not.
know it.
No, it's not. No, I've given up on Match.com. It's a joke. I'm going to light it with a match. It's a joke. It's
When
terrible.
you put that stuff on there, that's what happens, because then they see you in real life, and you're like, hey, wait a minute, you rode your bicycle. What happened to your jet?
All right, let's go. Mary Walter Radio, give me a 20-second summation of where can people find your work. Go.
Okay, everywhere, YouTube, Getter, Rumble, all the socials, look for Mary Walter Radio, and today at 3:20, I will be on Newsmax 2. Boom.
All right, talk to you later. Have a great weekend. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. All righty. That was fun, as always. We always run out of time. Who's watching over here? Yeah, the Bible diet, I didn't get a chance to really get into the story. But it's raw milk, snacks, sardines, authentic sourdough bread, no commercial yeast. It's healthy stuff, guys. That's all. You can have carbs. You can have bread. It's no ultra-processed foods. That's all. This morning, you know what I had? I had a Greek salad. So red onion, Kalamata olives, greens, oil and vinegar dressing. That's what I had this morning. Chicken breast, cooked chicken breast. Smoked the salmon last night. I don't eat carbs at night. I don't. I haven't ordered pizza since I moved here. 9 months, I've not ordered pizza. If you have kids, you order pizza. So I still, I've gained a couple pounds since I moved here, just stress and all of that. But anyway, just get rid of the, honestly, just get rid of the oils, all the seed oils and bullshit crap, all the artificial flavors and colors, and don't buy something and it has more than 10 ingredients on the label. Like when I buy potato chips, it's olive oil, potato, salt. That's it. Real cheese, like bacon is fine. Bacon doesn't cause heart disease. You know what does? Cool Whip. And margarine. Throw margarine away. Throw it away. Throw it at Country Crock. Throw it away. If you've got it, honestly, you will get heart disease if you eat margarine all the time. It's garbage. Garbage. Don't buy mayonnaise with regular oil with vegetable oil. Buy it with olive oil. Seriously, do it. There you go. I'm done.
2.5 here.
I'll just share what I was sharing with my streamers. I had mentioned the Bible biblical diet now, which is this kind of thing. Sardines, authentic sourdough bread, no commercial yeast, no ultra-processed foods. That's really what it's all about, is no ultra-processed foods. And listen, I am not happy with the weight that I am. I got a little stressed out, getting divorced and everything. But I work out. I'm physically stronger than I've been since I was 30 years old. I had a workout last night that somebody half my age would go, what, really, seriously? And I added sardines, just simple sardines. You get these that I buy online, and it's just olive oil and sardines, and they're really good for you. They're really good for a lot of different things. So I'll have some of those. I know some people don't like sardines, but I have them with some mustard and some bread or whatever. But I just kind of stay away from it. Get rid of margarine. No, margarine should not be in your diet. Anything with seed oils in it should not be in your diet. Anything with red dye number 4 in it should not be in your diet. And anything basically that has more than 10 ingredients in it on the ingredient label should be out of your diet. When I did that, I went in a couple years ago. I had my cholesterol. Total cholesterol is 230. And so I said, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of all the seed oil. I'm going to eat Cheerios in the morning because I got a niece who told me you should eat Cheerios in the morning. She's a nurse. Okay, I said, okay, so Cheerios, got rid of a lot of cheese. I eat real cheese, but not as much. And then got rid of all the seed oils and all the ultra-processed food. My cholesterol dropped 90 points in 3 months. 90 points in 3 months. It was like kaboom. Kaboom. So, yeah, I was talking to somebody on the chat about statins. If you want to do statins, you can. Some people think if you eat a statin, you can eat whatever you want. No, it just screws you up. Statins just screw you up. The doctor is not all the way in with regard to cholesterol. Some cholesterol is good in your diet. It's there for a reason. And I don't think the way to do it is eat whatever you want, eat margarine, and take a statin to make up for it. That's the wrong way to do it. All right, I'm done. We got another hour of the show on the way. And, of course, Christian Toda is going to be joining us on the other side. All sorts of stuff. Last hour of the Rob Carson Show is right ahead. If I were you, I wouldn't go anywhere.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Chapter, Medicare Guidance Simplified.
You don't need to live with aches and pains. Visit relieffactor.com today.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
And by the grace of God, it is finally Friday. Yay, Friday. Already the 15th of May. It's like crazy, crazy, crazy. Memorial Day weekend is coming up, the kickoff of summer. Starting very soon. It's a beautiful day in our nation's capital. This weekend on Sunday, there is a Day of Faith on the National Mall. I'm Googling it. I got to remember the name of it, what they're calling it. But Rededicate 250, a national jubilee of prayer, thanksgiving, prayer, praise, and thanksgiving, going to be taking place on the National Mall. All-day event dedicated to scripture, testimony, prayer, worship, and the national call to return to God. Now, I'm not a Bible banger or anything like that, but I think this is really important, and I think, as I've told you, that we are the reaction to the action of evil that had taken over the world, taken over the country, all of that, and great things are happening. Great things are happening. I was just reading today, John Ratcliffe has met with officials in Cuba because Cuba is apparently falling. It looks like it's falling, so that's good news. Cuba's on the brink, which would be remarkable. These are extraordinary times. Cue Democrats ready to completely ignore the possibility of freedom for the Cuban people like they did freedom for the Iranian people. And honestly, let them disappear into the dustbin of history, because I've waited my entire life, not my adult life, my entire life, for Cuba to be free, and I'm hoping and praying that it will, because I've seen nothing but, in my entire life, misery in Cuba. Misery in Cuba. People like, idiots will go down there, and Michael Moore, oh yeah, the schools down there are so great. Yeah, enjoy your 5 pounds of rice and pound of beans you get every month. Nothing, cars that are 70 years old, held together by wire, political prisons all over the island. Honestly, shut up. People escape that island on rafts, through shark-infested waters to get out of that hellhole. And so I'm going to celebrate when Cuba is free, and I'm going to go down and I'm going to meet maybe some friends down there and have a Cuban cigar. Maybe they can get back to as good as they used to be, because the Cuban cigars were the deal for a while there, and they've slipped. The rest of the world is caught up, and there's a lot of great cigars being made out there. So there's that. The possibility that Iran could breathe free. And of course, the Democrat Party has said that Operation Epic Fury was a failure for day one, which throws our military under the bus. All of our military members, all of their families, all of their loved ones, everybody under the bus. It's a damn shame, and it's terrible. Oh, here's some more bad news for the Democrats. The Department of Homeland Security announced that this week, April, marked 12 consecutive months of zero releases of illegal aliens apprehended by Border Patrol at the southwest border with Mexico into the United States. That is just crazy, because Democrats said they could not do it alone.
Republicans keep saying Biden doesn't need Congress. He can stop what's happening at the border all by himself. Can you fact check that for us? Because we here all know that's not true.
Republicans have been saying, largely wrongly, right, because saying that the president can close the border unilaterally on his own. The president actually doesn't have the authority under law to do that.
There's only so much President Biden can do with executive action, and he did try to do whatever he could.
They actually are doing everything they can.
The president's hands are tied. There's only so much that he can do.
President Biden has issued certain executive orders, but there's only so much he can do within his purview.
What an intractable...
This is why the media just sucks. And they're wrong about everything, and then they're unrepentant and unapologetic. But I've got the montages. Thank you very much. I've got the montages. You jerks. And you know what it's like every day to watch the southern border open, to see 20,000 Haitian refugees under a bridge in Mexico, to watch, the bodies being found on ranchers' land and people being murdered by illegals coming across the southern border. And it was all a damned lie. It was all a damned lie. Milestone officially reflects the most secure border in American history under Donald Trump. Donald Trump did it. Donald Trump did it. The media won't give you a positive report on this, but Donald Trump did it. 94% drop in illegal border apprehensions compared to the Biden era. Daily crossings now lower than what agents encountered in a single hour at the height of the 2023 crisis, which was bought and paid for, which was made possible intentionally by the Biden administration to load a Trojan horse with our country's enemies and bring them across. And people ought to be lined up against walls for doing this. And one of those people is this little turd, Alejandro Mayorkas. Alejandro Mayorkas was talking to Politico the other day, and he suddenly thinks maybe we should have closed the border a little earlier. He allowed the southern border to be open. He allowed people unvetted on airlines with American citizens who had been unvetted for terror, for disease, for criminality. That's what they did to us. People need to be held accountable.
Did you feel that you had the support from the president in order to succeed?
There were areas of disagreement within immigration policy and in other areas, but I voiced my view.
You opened the southern border to all comers, including our enemies. That's why there are so many of them here. That's why there was so much crime, so much child trafficking, so much trafficking of women for sex and labor.
I was
so many fentanyl deaths.
Be pleased that in June of 2024, we took executive action that I thought made reforms that were sensible.
If those
and that proved successful.
If those executive actions had been taken 1 or 2 years earlier, do you think Donald Trump would be the president today?
I am not in a position to.
Oh, what a weasel! He's like the Tony Fauci of the border. Dear Lord. Here is Alejandro Mayorkas and others saying, oh, yeah, even though millions of people were streaming across the southern border, unvetted, that it was secure.
Mr. President, would you call the situation on the southern border a crisis?
No. It is my testimony that the border is secure.
The president has worked very hard to implement a strategy when it comes to the border that is humane, safe, and has orderly enforcement.
Things are going at the border, sir.
Much better than you all expected.
We have a secure border in that is a priority for any nation.
You know, it's the most despicable thing in the world for a politician to lie to your face. Know that the liberal media, the leftist media, will carry their water even though they're lying to you. And all you can do as, say, for instance, a conservative or someone who wanted the country to be saved and didn't want the rapes and the murders and the trafficking and the fentanyl deaths, and all we could do was scream out loud, close the border. Close the border. And we had to. Do you understand why we're not going to let you have either House of Congress in the midterms? We're not going to let you do this. We are still fighting mad over what you did to our country. We are fighting mad over all of it. And then, of course, there's what they did to us during COVID, which was entirely unnecessary. Another thing, screaming about, why do we have our schools closed? Why are our children suffering so much? This doesn't happen to happen. Why can't I go to church? Why do I have to get a vaccine that doesn't work? You can't say anything because what you say is disinformation and misinformation. This is Josh Hawley this week in Congress talking to a whistleblower about how the COVID virus was created in a lab in Wuhan, China, which it bought and paid for by Tony Fauci, by the way. There's no doubt about it. And then, of course, they covered it up.
Let me tell you what this so-called 5-page report, what it said in its substance, to the extent there was any. They said, number one, that nothing that was researched at the Wuhan lab could plausibly be a progenitor of SARS-CoV-2. Number two, they said there is no evidence of any research-related incident involving Wuhan employees that might have been related to the pandemic. Now, in your experience, given what you have seen, are those true statements?
Some of that would have to be covered and classified, but no, they're not true.
Uh-huh.
If we wanted to get into details, I don't believe that's true.
So the United States government first deliberately violated a law passed by Congress, signed by the president, that ordered them to release all information related to the Wuhan lab, number one. Number two, they then violated the law again by withholding thousands and thousands of pages that they had at the time and knew were covered by the law. And number three, the conclusions, so-called, they released to the public are false. If that is not a cover-up, I don't know what is.
Yeah. Then there's Dr. Peter McCullough. He was one of the many physicians who were saying, hey, man, maybe we ought to try hydroxychloroquine or ivermectin. Horse paste! Maybe the vaccine isn't safe and effective. Baloney, it's misinformation. Here's what he has to say about Tony Fauci now.
The world understands that Fauci has committed two crimes. One is fraudulent concealment. He intentionally concealed the origins of SARS-CoV-2 from his funded projects in Wuhan. If we would have known what the story was originally, I think we could have done better in our pandemic response. And the second major crime I think he committed is mass negligent homicide by two mechanisms.
Genocide.
First, he worked to suppress our efforts at publishing and promulgating early treatment protocols to get people through the illness. And secondly, he
ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine.
Relentlessly promoted unsafe vaccines that took hundreds of thousands of American lives and millions of lives worldwide. It's been the greatest biological catastrophe mankind has ever seen.
Now, wait, really? I mean, that vaccine was safe and effective, not according to Senator Ron Johnson.
What my report shows is that on March 1st of 2021, Peter Marks, the head of CBER, that's that division in charge of vaccines, received a briefing from Anna Scharsman. She was the primary data gathering specialist for vaccine surveillance, working with the inventor of the algorithm, briefed him with a multi-page brief saying that the current algorithm was going to mask or hide safety signals. Okay, 26 days later, with a state-of-the-art algorithm that unmasked those safety signals, they showed top FDA officials that there was 49 cases of extreme masking, 25 safety signals of very serious adverse events, like sudden cardiac death, pulmonary infarction, Bell's palsy, other types of stroke. She continued to update this month after month. More safety.
And she was censored. You know, it's interesting. I know more people who were injured by the vaccine than died of COVID. The deadliest pandemic in the history of mankind. I don't know anyone who died of COVID, but I know several people who've encountered horrific problems with their health since the vaccine. Yeah. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson. You know my signature phrase, don't catch the stupid. When it comes to Medicare, that's easier said than done. Medicare is overly complex with thousands of plans, hidden gotchas in the fine print, and rules nobody really explains to you. Many people just pick something and hope for the best. That's why you need to know about Chapter. They're the only advisor that looks at every plan in the country, matches your doctors, your prescriptions, and your situation to a plan that fits your needs. When your call with Chapter is done, you know your doctors are covered. Your prescriptions are matched, and you go from, I hope I did this right, to, I know I did. That, my friends, is peace of mind. A call with Chapter is free for my audience, and there's no pressure to sign up. Call Chapter today. Here's the number, 27 Medicare. That's 27 MEDICARE. 27 Medicare for Chapter. No pressure. What's your excuse? Call 27 Medicare and don't catch the stupid yourself. Call 27 Medicare today.
Deported. Deported.
deported. Get them out. Ready? Are you ready? Get them out of here. Get them out of here. Get the hell out of here.
Rejoin. The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
Yeah, we knew it. We all knew it. They opened the border intentionally to flood our country with America's enemies. They said that we can't do anything about it. They can't do anything about it. And Donald Trump came along and shut it immediately. And now we have the lowest number of illegals being no illegals released on the southern border in the last 12 months. And it was that easy. And this is the reason why we don't trust you anymore. This is why the left exposes their flanks so we can kick their butt. And a lot of that is going on right now. And we're discovering the depth of the enormous corruption of our federal government, what they've done to us over the years. It really is. I mean, we always talked about it being a swamp. I know there's a reason why I'm here to witness this and share it with you. Because look at what's coming at us, fast and furious, all of this stuff. The absolute corruption of Medicare and Medicaid, the increasing of the size of our federal government with COVID, using COVID as an excuse to blow up the federal government by 40%, and then just doling it out willy-nilly. The exposition of the Green New Deal nonsense, how it was just all made up of whole cloth. It was an absolute waste of trillions of dollars just paying off people. The NGO industrial complex where people, you and I always fantasize about being millionaires, but, we have to come up with an idea and we have to work. There are people in government or their friends who just become millionaires by theft. By taking our money. Listen to this. A healthcare software company CEO was found guilty of fleecing $1 billion of taxpayer cash in cold, calculated scheme, all while flaunting his and his wife's lavish lifestyle. Brett Blackman, 42, convicted of fraud on Wednesday after he and co-conspirators conned Medicare patients with bogus prescriptions and unnecessary medical expenditures from 2015 to 2020. $1 billion. $1 billion. Health Splash owner and CEO Blackman and his co-conspirators aggressively targeted hundreds of thousands of Medicare beneficiaries to get them to accept medically unnecessary products, including orthotic braces. According to this illegitimate operation, stole $1 billion from American taxpayers, hundreds of thousands of Medicare beneficiaries, cold calculated industrial scale theft, targeting the sick and elderly, coercing vulnerable people into buying unnecessary medical equipment. Wow. And then in California, they just shut down 800 of these hospices. In Minnesota, spending for autism sources went from 7 million to 400 million in a couple of years. You tell me that the government didn't know what the hell that was going on. You tell me they didn't know that was going on. You tell me the AG in either one of these states didn't know this was going on. Of course, they knew it was going on. This is Gavin Newsom. And he says after all of these hospices are being closed, oh, no, we've been on this hospice closing thing. All this is a politics. Listen to this weasel, this filthy, rotten weasel. He is corrupt, and I'm hoping someday that he is perp-walked, arrested, indicted, and spends the rest of his years in jail.
With Dr. Oz. Might as well be living in Oz. Well, hospice, we've been after that for years and years.
No, you
before
haven't.
Oz was even on the scene.
No, you haven't.
This is purely political.
No.
This is not about fraud and abuse. This is about the polarization, politicalization.
This is Newsom in January this year.
Weaponization.
Versus Oz just this month.
Not just a grievance, but weaponization across the board of agencies and weaponization, the likes of which we've never seen from an administration.
At least half of the hospices in the entire area around Los Angeles are fraudulent. And today we announce 800 of those hospices have been suspended. That's getting us, close to where we think we should be. 800 hospices that last year charged the federal taxpayer $1.4 billion.
They knew it was going on. They knew it was going on. This is how they hang on to power. And this is how they get their political donations. This is how he's buying an $8 million mansion, paying cash for it. Are you serious? Yeah. On a government salary, he's buying an $8 million mansion. Oh, it's remarkable. Just the malfeasance and the. Oh, you want to hear something fun? This is a guy torching Karen Bass because they're spending like hundreds of millions of dollars on a couple thousand homeless people. And it's all money going to NGOs making people rich.
Talk about homelessness. Inside Safe, we have spent how much, Karen? How much? $400 million to house, 1,500 people permanently? You are a failure. An absolute failure. And you come here for your little media event. You have failed the city of LA, Karen. We are spending hundreds of thousands per person in Inside Safe. Half of them end up back out on the street.
Yeah. Here is Elon Musk talking about the homeless industrial complex, why it exists.
The homeless implies that somebody got a little behind on their mortgage payments, and if they just got a job offer, they'd be back on their feet. But someone who's totally dead inside, shuffling along down the street with a needle dangling out of their leg, taking a dump in the middle of the streets, they're not like one job offer away from getting back on their feet. These sort of charities, they get this money. The money is proportionate to the number of homeless people. Their incentive structure is to maximize the number of drug zombies, not minimize it. That's why they don't arrest the drug dealers. Because if they arrest the drug dealers, the drug zombies leave. And they would stop getting money from the state of California and from all the charities. This is a diabolical scam.
Yeah, this is why I say that we are the reaction to the action of evil that has taken over our country. This is a terrifying and glorious time that at least now we know this, right? At least now we know this. And those who continue to lie to us like they did on the border, like they did on COVID, like they did on all of this, they're being exposed and they are going to be punished for what they did on this earth and in the afterlife as well. Let's take a break and come back. We've got the one and only Christian Toto, HollywoodandToto.com on the other side of the break. This is the Rob Carson Show. In New York City, Zoran Mandami is doing an estate tax of up to 50%. That's what he's pushing for. For families leaving behind a life's earnings, that's devastating. What are you leaving for your family? Do you have life insurance? I do, because I want my kids to be able to live a great life, pay off debt, maybe have it a little easier than I did. You can protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get up to $3 million in coverage in as little as 10 minutes by going to ethos.com/Carson. Application times may vary, rates may vary, but protection is there for you. If you get life insurance through Ethos, it'll give you peace of mind in case something happens. Ethos helps provide financial security for your family. Ethos helps protect them in this frequently unpredictable world. There's no medical exam, just answer a few health questions online. Get a rate in as little as 10 minutes. Get the ball rolling today by going to ethos.com/Carson. That's ethos.com/Carson. Hey guys, it's Carson for Ghost Bed. I am sleeping better than I've ever slept in my entire life. I used to think a mattress was just furniture, but I got a Ghost Bed. Ghost Bed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks. Your body should be healing while you sleep, not fighting for comfort. I noticed immediately. My first night on a Ghost Bed, I slept for 10 hours. If you're waking up stiff, tossing and turning, sleeping hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, hoping tonight will be different, that's not aging. That's your mattress talking. Here's another thing I love about Ghost Bed. You get 101 nights to try it at home. If you don't like the difference, just send it back risk-free. Ghost Bed is currently having their Memorial Day sale plus an extra 10% off for my audience. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson and use promo code Carson. Ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson for the sleep of a lifetime. So many people living with everyday pain think they're just stuck with it, and it is what it is. But it doesn't have to be. Let me tell you about George from Oregon and his Relief Factor story. George is a hardworking guy, spends 10 hours a day in his garbage truck. It's a tough job, made even harder because he was dealing with sore right knee that he couldn't bend. But here's the amazing part. George started taking Relief Factor, and it changed his life. He said, and I quote, "I can bend my knee again with very little pain." If you're living with aches and pains, see how Relief Factor, a daily drug-free supplement, could help you feel and live better every day. Give their 3-week quick start a try, only $19.95 in a few weeks or even days. Feel the difference Relief Factor can make. You don't have to be stuck living with pain. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF. That's ReliefFactor.com or 800-4RELIEF.
To noon on Talk Radio 680 WCBM. The news and sports you want. Timely and accurate traffic and weather. And the informed opinions you trust. Only on Talk Radio 680 WCBM and 99.9 FM in Harford County.
Donald Trump has been sworn in as President of the United States. I know. Listen, we're just as confused as you are. Joe Biden did it. I sat down and just started crying with relief. And Evie said, you never have to talk about him again. And then
This is 10 years of Stephen Colbert.
I cried with joy. After a bizarre and vicious campaign fueled by a desperate need not to go to jail, Donald Trump has won the 2024 election. Next year will be our last season. The network will be ending The Late Show in May.
Wow, he killed it. Christian Toto, HollywoodandToto.com, the end of an era. There you go. And it looks like the demise of late night in general. Welcome to the show. How are you, my friend?
I was good until you played those clips.
I know, right?
In a bad mood. Where's the comedy? Where's the laugh?
Thank you.
Where's the entertainment?
Thank you.
I didn't see any. I didn't hear any.
You know, I really, I grew up watching Carson and then Letterman. Letterman was like when I was in high school, college, and it was really good. Letterman he was revolutionary. He did goofy crap like dropping stuff off of buildings. The Velcro suit, you saw the Velcro suit, jumping on the wall with the Velcro suit. Stupid pet tricks, top 10 list. Where is that? Where is it?
It's a different era. It's all about lectures and group therapy and finger wagging and cruelty and misinformation. Certainly not comedy, certainly not humor. And, it's been really sad to see David Letterman kind of rally to Colbert's side and kind of join in the caterwauling, because he had a different kind of show. He had a different principle. And yes, he was liberal. He was certainly leaning harder into that in his later episodes. But, in a way, he besmirches his legacy a little bit by kind of joining forces with Colbert and this whole free speech nonsense. The show was reportedly losing $40 million a year.
Wow.
It should have been gone years ago.
Wow. It is a sad commentary. I saw the other night when they had all of the current hosts of late night on the couch, and I looked at them, and they are a shell of the greatness that came before them. You got Seth Meyers. Nobody watches him. You've got Fallon, at least. I think he's a very talented guy. He's a brilliant singer and whatnot. But I saw these skinny, suit-wearing politicos that they just aren't funny anymore. They aren't. I don't know. It was like late night had been hijacked. And could you imagine if that would have been 30 years ago? Carson would have been sitting there, and Leno might have been sitting there. Arsenio Hall might have sat there. Steve Allen, Jack Parr, not alive, but all of those guys, a shadow. And I'm seeing Colbert's going out. I guess next week's going to be the last show with a whimper and not a bang. But it's all he deserves, right?
It's amazing. Listen, he did serve about 10 or so years. That is a good run. It is hard to be competitive in late-night TV. He's been, sadly, the best of the worst, you could say, as far as the ratings are concerned. And you would think that maybe your final few weeks would be about humor and memories and looking back at some of the funnier pieces or some of the entertaining moments. And it's all about Trump. It's all about this fake victim nonsense. By the way, you know who's a real victim?
What?
Gina Carano. Gina Carano
Tell me about
refused to bend the knee. And with The Mandalorian, she was the star of The Mandalorian. She was a rising star. They wanted to make a spin-off series about her. And then she wouldn't toe the line. She wouldn't say all the progressive things that Hollywood actors are supposed to. And Disney fired her. And she basically hasn't had a career since then. Listen, she's worked a little bit at the Daily Wire. She's done a couple projects, but she's been kicked out of Hollywood. And this weekend she fights against Ronda Rousey on Netflix, on her own terms, making her own comeback. She is a free speech champion. And no one wants to talk about it, and no legacy media outlet has had her back. It's shameful.
So Gina Carano is fighting Ronda Rousey? I didn't even know about this, Christian. I didn't even know about this.
Yeah, happening tomorrow night. Big fight.
Really? Well,
yeah, it's a comeback. They're both in great shape. They've been sort of, I guess they've been rivals on and off, but I don't think they've ever fought in the ring. Now they're going to fight.
I think that sounds kind of fascinating, actually. And she is, I think she's a real talent. I think Gina Carano's a real talent. I guess I'm kind of a little crestfallen that she's having to, have to fight in the ring against somebody to get noticed again,
Yeah, but listen, it's what her choice is. I met her several years ago, by the way, on the set of Terror on the Prairie, the Daily Wire movie. Let me tell you, I've interviewed Tom Hanks and Will Smith and Kevin Spacey. I've interviewed some big stars.
Yeah.
There is not one celebrity who I met who was kinder and more decent and who stuck up for fellow journalists like me than Gina Carano. She's an absolute sweetheart.
Yeah. This week, one of the most, and I've not run audio from this. I'm not going to run audio from this. Pete Davidson facing immense backlash after his joke about Charlie Kirk, the roast of Kevin Hart. I'm not going to say what he said, but it was an absolutely disgusting thing to say. He had been warned about it, by the way. They said, maybe you shouldn't, maybe you should. And listen, I will defend comedy to the ends of the earth. You know how I am. But I'm going to tell you, this isn't, there is a line. In 1946, you wouldn't make a joke about the Holocaust. You still wouldn't make a joke about the Holocaust. But this was just, roasts could be vicious, don't get me wrong. You remember seeing the one a couple years ago with, what's his name?
Brady.
Yeah, that was brutal, right? That was brutal, but it was funny. This was just horrible.
I disagree with you to a degree in that I think with a roast is a very specific thing. Anything goes. But it also, I didn't think it was remotely funny. I mean, if you're going to go that dark, I think you've got to just have an absolute hysterical joke, and I thought this one was not at all.
Okay, all right.
But also on that same show,
I'm not saying he shouldn't have. I'm not saying he should have been prevented from saying it, Christian. I'm just saying I think it was a real mistake for him to have said it.
I don't disagree. 'Cause I just think because if you're going to tell a joke that's that dark and cruel and cold, it's got to be really smart and really funny. I don't think it broached those barriers. On that same show, though, Cheryl Underwood, who I don't know very well, I guess she's a talk show personality, her husband, I believe, took his own life. And they were joking about that during the show. And they were joking about George Floyd during the show. So there was not a punch pulled. And so I'm sympathetic to what you're saying. At the same time, I've seen comedy curdle in the last few years. And the fact that the shackles are off, I think that overall is a good thing.
Listen,
I'm conflicted like you, honestly.
Well, honestly, look at the cancel culture, what it did to comedy. It gutted comedy. It certainly killed comedy on campus to some degree. So I am glad to see. I'm glad to see a comeback. I'm glad to see Shane Gillis, rejected and canceled by Saturday Night Live, coming back and hosting it. I'm glad to see people who've said politically incorrect things making a comeback. I just thought Davidson, I don't know. To me personally, I wouldn't, whatever. It is what it is. On the other side of the break, I want to talk a little bit about this Achilles, played by Elliot Page. I've got some funny stuff from Sydney Sweeney on the set of her, actually in the show Euphoria, and then also a new trailer for a movie on Angel Studios that's getting a lot of traction about George Washington. Okay, I want to cover all those things on the other side of the break with Christian Toto. Make HollywoodInToto.com a favor on your browser. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
woman with those manners.
I know that. You should hear the other end.
Come on, Pete. Start moving. Got to get me there.
What happened, Washington? All those bullet holes in your jacket. How are you alive? I don't know. You have no military service.
And it's just around the bend.
You are a boy. You are not British, yet they send you to speak for them. So that when you fail, they'll have someone to blame.
This looks like the best thing Angel Studios has done. It is Young, Washington, and it is opening, I believe, June 23rd. Christian Toto, have you heard much about this? I've been getting these. I have an Angel subscription, so I get hit with this all the time. But this just looks good. It's got Ben Kingsley, Kelsey Grammer in this thing.
It all looks good. I'm excited to see it. I don't have much inside information about it. I will say that when you think about the timing, and you think about the subject matter, and you think about what birthday is coming up for this country very, very soon, to my estimation, this is the only really significant / major project that is honoring the country's 250th birthday. I know Disney is going to have some programming on the 4th that will recognize that major mark. But, you know, as far as Hollywood goes, and this is actually outside of Hollywood. Like I said, it's Angel Studios. They're an upstart studio. They're not part of the system.
This is going to put...
Shouldn't there be more movies and shows like this?
This is going to put... I mean, Angel's on the map. This is going to put Angel on the map. I think a lot of people are going to go see this movie. Oddly enough, I just got a mountain bike. You know where I'm going tomorrow? I'm riding the trail to Mount Vernon tomorrow.
That is one of my favorite paths in the entire... Listen, I am not a well-traveled person.
Yes.
But I am in my 50s, and that path is very magical and special to me. So I
can't wait. I cannot wait. But you know, that's one of the things about living here, Christian. Where I live in Northern Virginia, they still have streets named Washington and Franklin and King and Queen and and Duke Street and all of this, and then the streets that cross them are Washington. It's really cool. And they're proud of it. And I'm going to tell you, this is such a time to live here, Christian. They're getting ready to open the reflecting pool. You know, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to look like the lazy river at Disney World. and I think this movie, I think it's going to be huge for Angel Studios. I really do. I really, really do.
I hope so.
Yeah. Let's move on to some other stuff. So a new, I guess, The Odyssey coming out, and it's got Elliot Page playing Achilles. Elliot Page, who was in Juno, right? Wasn't Juno as a girl, and then all of a sudden decided to become a mutilated man. And a lot of people are, is this for real? Is it still just a rumor? Elon Musk says it's stupid that Elliot Page would be considered for Achilles. It was played by Brad Pitt years ago, 2004 in The Odyssey. What are your thoughts on this?
I don't think we have enough information yet. A couple things. This is Christopher Nolan, big time director.
Yeah.
Second of all, Elliot Page is in the film. We don't know the role in question. There's been a lot of speculation.
Okay.
At this point, listen, when you're in the industry forever, like Christopher Nolan has been, you tend to change. You tend to kind of, even if you're not left of center, you tend to morph over time, just by exposure, just by survival techniques.
Gotcha.
But he's not been that guy. He's been entertainment first and foremost.
Yeah.
Even his movie, The Dark Knight Rises, was really kind of an attack on the Occupy Wall Street nonsense.
Yeah.
So I've got to give him benefit of doubt. We don't know the information yet, so I'm going to hold my fire at the moment.
All
But we'll have to wait and see. I don't know. Nothing would surprise me at this point.
Yeah. I'm looking at HollywoodandToto.com, which you should check out. I see Harry Shearer of The Simpsons has really taken his TDS to a new high.
Yeah, he's got a new parody out that's kind of poking fun at President Trump, and it's really cringeworthy. Listen, he's a super talented guy.
Oh my God,
he's
yes.
done great over the years, and so I don't want to ever besmirch what he's done, but.
Yeah.
I think when you hate Trump so much, you lose your common sense. You lose your sense of artistic ability. It's a parody song. It's tough to watch. I watched the video version on YouTube. It's just not funny. It's not clever. It's not insightful. At times, I don't even know what he's trying to do or what he's trying to parody, but not his finest hour. Let's put it that way.
Actress Sydney Sweeney's Euphoria character Cassie Howard implied her political stance during Sunday's episode of the HBO drama, saying, "You sound like a Democrat." An off-camera podcast host can be heard telling Cassie, to which Sweeney's Euphoria character replies, "I'm not retarded."
That's a twofer. You got the R word, which was once verboten.
Yes,
and
it was.
You got something unconventional said about the Democratic Party on a mainstream streaming platform like HBO Max. So
and
you've got freezing over.
And you've got Sydney Sweeney's breasts against a large window in what I hear, which almost makes me want to get an HBO subscription.
Well, it's funny. I mean, having that said on a show is one thing, but having her say it, obviously she's playing a character, but we all know that she seems to be common sense driven, or certainly not going to apologize to the woke monsters who were attacking her.
And can I also say, welcome back to being able to say that a woman is hot. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, and listen, guys are hot. Let's make it bipartisan from a gender point of view. There are good-looking guys and good-looking gals, and that's why we watch movies. We want to see pretty people. It's okay.
Absolutely. Chris and Toto, always great to have you on. If you ever make it back to D.C., I'll get you a mountain bike. We'll head out to Mount Vernon. All right, brother? All right.
Nothing more.
HollywoodandToto.com. Also, tell everybody where they can check out your podcast.
Yep, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your favorite podcasts, you will find the Hollywood and Toto podcast.
All right, take care, bud. We'll talk again. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Sydney Sweeney is hot. Hey, guys, it's Rob Carson for virtual supply constraints on commodities. Prices go up. Hi, everybody. Hard Intel. Hard Intel, you're new. Hello. Good to see you there. Jamie Bellett. Hi, what up? Guess what? Rigor mortis, 20, P2H, okay. Governments can't print more gold. That's why everybody from oh, wow. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and ban you because you are nothing more than a troll. So, rigor mortis, you just got blocked. You just got blocked. You just got blocked. You've been blocked. Bye-bye. That's over on YouTube. See, I have the power. I am all-powerful Rob Carson. I can block people as soon as they become jerks on the chat. Yay. Yay. I'm all about free speech, but if you're just going to name call and be stupid, then you get banned immediately. There you go. Does that make everybody happy? I think it makes everybody happy. Hello, Lois Hall Pulcello. What's going on? I haven't seen you there before. Amble Valentin. Hello. Glad to see you there, listening and watching the show. Oh, got to watch my TV show this weekend. Got to watch it this weekend. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. I got to talk here in a couple seconds. Who else is watching over here? On X, PinkoLinka11, you were watching. You reposted the stream. Thank you so much. Shannon Sweeney. Hello, Shannon Sweeney. What's going on over on Facebook? You going to have a nice weekend? I hope you get a nice weekend. Make sure to watch my TV show, okay, will you? Newsmax TV, Saturday at 3, Sunday night at 8:30. Will ya? Watch it. All right, it's time for me to talk. Digging. 2.5? 3.5. Okay.
Poor little Democrats. Are you guys okay today? I came in to check on you. Every time Trump does something good, you guys spaz out. Would you guys shut up and let him work?
What a great week, by the way. You had the previous week, SCOTUS decision, rhinos being driven out in the Senate in Indiana. You had Louisiana. You had Memphis, gerrymandering, all that. And then this week, you had Donald Trump going to China and just kicking butt. Just absolutely a tour de force, an invasion of China, showing our listen, all of the red carpet and all that. You know what that was? That was a butt kiss. That was a butt kiss because he's in the catbird seat, as it were. So there you go. Supply constraints on commodities cause prices to surge. Could be oil, could be grain, could be just about anything. Could be steel, could be coal. Gold also, by the way, they mine it out of the ground, and when it's gone, it's gone. Governments can't print more of it. Gold is increasingly valuable. It's more valuable than it's ever been. I was playing something from this billionaire in New York City who's talking about the devaluation of our currency. Since Joe Biden was the president 6 years ago, the devaluation of our currency has just been remarkable. You used to be able to go to McDonald's and get a 99-cent soda. A large soda was 99 cents. Now it's $2.99. Did you notice that? Our money's not buying as much as it used to. It's just not. The currency has been devalued. It's not getting any better. Gold is going up in value. Maybe it's time to invest in some gold. I think it's a good idea. Birch Gold, now through May 29th, is giving a first-time gold buyers a rebate up to $10,000 on qualifying purchases. For details and free information, a kit on diversifying into gold, just text my name, Rob, to the number 989898. Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in gold. If you just have money in savings, it's a waste. You're not making any interest money on it. It's worthless. Invest it. And I would recommend gold. That's what I did. I did my 401k from selling cars. Text my name, Rob, to the number 989898 to see if you qualify for a first-time gold buyer rebate up to $10,000. Okay? Okay. My TV show is called Rob Carson's What in the World? This weekend, very, 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 very funny show on Newsmax. We got some really big things happening here in Washington, D.C. I'm hoping we can expand the show, but even in it where it has been noticed. Donald Trump thinks I'm really funny, and I've gotten notes from him and his associates who've told me, and I also met him, and he told me that I'm the funniest guy on TV. So the show's getting better. It's very tight, and we're going to be doing some cool stuff with it. It's on Saturday in the afternoon at 3, Sunday night at 8:30 on Newsmax. Get the Newsmax, download the Newsmax app, and I would recommend you start watching Newsmax, particularly in the evenings. The commentary is brilliant from Finnerty and Higbee and Greta and Schmidt. All of it. It's you're not going to get anywhere else. But my show is Rob Carson's What in the World. DVR it and watch it and tell everybody about it. Have a wonderful weekend, guys. Thank you for everything. God bless you. America's founded our president. Safe travels with him. Our military just kicked butt in Iran. And until Monday, don't catch the stupid. God bless you from the bottom of my heart. I love you. Bye.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.